Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed educators and learning enthusiasts. Welcome to an exciting journey towards transforming your lectures into captivating experiences. My name is Sarah from CDAE. Hello, Prof.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Okay. So today we are diving headfirst into the realm of scenario-based learning, SBL, a powerful tool that immerses students into realistic situations, elevating engagement levels and nurturing profound learning experiences. Instead of a passive lecture hall, imagine your students actively involved, eagerly tackling real-world challenges and immersing themselves in scenarios that mirror the complexities of the world beyond academia. This is the essence of SBL, and today you're on the brink of mastering its art. In today's session, we're diving deep into the heart of SBL. You'll walk away equipped with not just theoretical knowledge but practical skills to seamlessly integrate SBL activities into your university courses. Without wasting more time, let's get to know a little bit of our honorable speaker for today, which needs no long introduction, definitely. Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias, a distinguished fellow at UNITEN and University Malaysia's adjunct professor. He is a former professor of food technology at the School of Industrial Technology, USM. Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias also is a master trainer for ACAP and a writer for the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2015-2025 for higher education. As co-chairman of the National Technical Committee, he led the development of Malaysia's MOOC. He is an ardent supporter of utilizing the internet as an alternative learning and tech teaching medium. Let's not keep you waiting any longer and get started with the webinar session for today on Level Up Student Cognitive Engagement with Scenario-Based Learning. Please welcome Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias.
Terima kasih Puan Sarah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera and good morning to all my colleagues, friends from USM. Thank you to CDAE for having me this morning to share another topic. I'm very pleased to see some familiar names here. Aizat, Dr. Ainul, Dr. Reza, what else? Dr. Sodi also is here. Dr. Wan Hasma, So Alhamdulillah, thank you for joining this morning. I hope to get more participants from USM to join, and also to participants from outside USM watching on YouTube. Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera to everyone. The topic this morning is something that I think timely. I did the first sharing of this topic a few years ago, I think in 2020 during the pandemic. You can find actually the recording on CDAE YouTube channel. The title was Interactive Story and Introduction to Scenario-Based Learning. I remember I collaborated with Dr. Dr. Olin, Dr. Olin from UUM, yeah. So you can find the recording. And today, basically, I want to share more about scenario-based learning. The reason being, I think if you want to really provide very engaging learning experience for our students, especially to create learning activities on to encourage critical thinking, to encourage application of whatever knowledge that they have learned. Scenario-based learning is probably one of the best choices that you can use apart from problem-based learning. We will see what are the differences between scenario-based and problem-based learning. I'll be sharing two materials. One is PowerPoint. There are over 100 slides. I'm not going to go through slide by slides because I have another material, which is a module. So these two, the module and the PowerPoint will complement each other. So I will share the link for you to download and to have access to the module and the PowerPoint towards the end of the presentation. Yeah. Okay. Let me share the screen. Okay, Sarah, please confirm. You can see the screen, my screen.
Yes, Prof. Boleh?
Okay. My
Okay.
audio okay. My audio
Your audio
Oh.
pun okay.
loud and clear.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So this is the module, very comprehensive module, scenario-based learning. So I will share the link for you to have access to it. And to complement this module, I have the PowerPoint. I have 113 slides here. Okay. These two materials should complement each other and should provide a very comprehensive material for you to get started. This is basically scenario-based learning 101. There are three parts that I'm going to cover this morning. The first part is basically to explain the what is scenario-based learning, and then the why. So 2/3 of my sharing is about the what and the why, and maybe 1/3 is about the how. If we want to really go deep into scenario-based learning on the how, perhaps we need to have another session. But this morning, I will give you some kind of overview, and perhaps after this, using my module and also the PowerPoint, you can explore further. And maybe we can have another session sometime this year to uh, to go deep into the how to develop a very comprehensive, solid scenario-based learning. I'm still learning myself, especially now we have the AI. It can really make the creation of scenario-based learning much easier. Before that, let me ask you to do a quick survey, 2 questions only. So everyone should be able to respond to this. Let me share in the chat. Only 2 questions. So please, everyone, please respond to this survey before I continue. It's in the chat. The link is in the chat. Yeah. So we have about 60 people now, 60 participants. So let's see whether we can get everyone to respond. Only 2 questions, so you should be able to do it very fast. Okay, we have 15 now. Let's get as many responses as possible. There are only 2 questions there. I need to know how many of you here in this session, and maybe on YouTube. If Sarah can share the link on YouTube, maybe the participants on YouTube, how many? I don't know how many of them can do the survey as well. The reason why I'm asking this question, did you subscribe to ChatGPT Plus, the paid version? Because now with ChatGPT and especially ChatGPT Plus, it can help us to create the scenario, because to create scenario is not easy. That's why not many people are using scenario-based learning, because one of the challenges, the difficult part or the most difficult part is to create the scenario. So, but now with ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you how to do it and some examples, is much easier. The heavy lifting part of creating the scenario can be delegated to ChatGPT. But if you are using ChatGPT, the free version, well, you need to come up with very good prompt. If you don't write a good prompt, then maybe you won't get what you want. But if you have ChatGPT Plus, there are several GPT, customized GPT, specialized GPT that have created especially to create a scenario. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to demonstrate this one, how to create especially branching scenario, more complex scenario. Yeah, because when we talk about scenario, we can create a simple scenario. We can create a more complex scenario with multiple branching, multiple kind of different outcomes of the scenario. It is very interesting and really make it very engaging. Yeah. But to create such a complex scenario, if you do it or using your own brain, it's going to be difficult and probably not so efficient and productive. But if you use the GPT, customized GPT in ChatGPT Plus, then will make things much easier. Trust me. Okay, that's the reason why I asked whether you subscribe to ChatGPT Plus, the paid version, or not. And the second question is about, have you used or incorporated scenario-based learning into your course? So I just want to know how many of you have some experience using scenario-based learning. Problem-based, probably many people are using it. Yeah. Okay. What about others? We have about say 37. Okay. Should be very quick. Only 2 questions. Come on. USM is better in terms of doing this. Another 30 seconds, perhaps. How many do we have now? About 60 plus. Okay. So let's see. We get about almost 40 now. Yeah, 40. Okay. Can't wait. Okay. Yes. So about 26% of the people here have ChatGPT Plus, and 74% no. Again, I think we still have a large number of people, academic especially, not subscribing to ChatGPT Plus. Maybe they are just happy with the free one. Okay, that's fine. There's also Gemini now, which we can use, equally powerful. But as a heavy user, frequent user of ChatGPT Plus, I'm using it every day. In fact, the module that I'm going to share with you is basically 90% created using ChatGPT Plus, and I only created the module yesterday. I started to create the module, to prepare the module yesterday. Okay, so the value of ChatGPT Plus is to me much more than 20 US dollar, perhaps multiply by 10, factor of 10, yeah, the value. Okay, how have you incorporated scenario-based learning into your course? Yes, that's good. Good to see. 24%. No, about 20%. And not sure. So not sure, probably you're not sure whether what you are using can be described uh, as scenario-based learning, perhaps. Yeah. So okay. So thank you very much for those who responded to this survey. Okay, now as you can see, I created this module yesterday. And update even 10 minutes before we uh, before we start just now. Okay, and as usual, all my modules are living module, meaning that I'm going to update from time to time. So if you come back, let's say after 1 month or 1 year, you will see this module will be expanded. There will be new things added. So the title today is about scenario-based learning. The full title is Level Up Student Cognitive Engagement with Scenario-Based Learning. So the keywords here, we want to engage students cognitively, meaning that we want them to develop or apply their critical thinking, problem-solving ability. Because when we talk about student engagement, we talk about mainly cognitive engagement. So that's why we have the Bloom taxonomy C1 until C6, right? From remember to create. Much of the time, we focus on the C1 and the C2, right? Your learning outcome. Some maybe C3. Some courses, especially the higher level 200 and above, you have C4, C5, C6. This higher order thinking. The issue is what kind of learning activities and assessment that you can develop to that level, C3 and above. So the answer here is one of the learning activities that really very powerful for level C3 and above is this one, scenario-based learning. Of course, problem-based and so on. But today I'm going to focus just on scenario-based learning. And the application of scenario-based learning are not very widespread. Not many people are using scenario-based learning except in corporate learning development, corporate L&D. The reason, I think one of the reasons actually because it's not easy to create scenario-based learning compared to problem-based and case study, things like that. And but things have changed now. With ChatGPT, we can now create scenario much easier now. So this is what I'm going to share with you this morning, and I hope this will open up more kind of options for you to create a higher order level of learning activities to engage students cognitively. But not just cognitively, actually. You will see that one of the strength of scenario-based learning, just like design thinking, if you have learned about design thinking, there is the effective part of the Bloom learning domain. There are three domain in Bloom taxonomy of learning. One is cognitive, that's very well known, yeah, but less perhaps understood is the affective domain, affective learning domain, dealing with the emotion, dealing with the feeling. We talk about empathy, we talk about feeling. Just in design thinking, when you design something, you have to have the empathy. So you have to empathize with your uh, stakeholders, you have to empathize with your students, you have to empathize with the clients and so on. The same thing is scenario-based learning. So there are two main I would say, strength of scenario based. One is engaging students cognitively. The other one is engaging students emotionally. We are dealing with both. In making decision, because in scenario based learning, always about making decision before we move on to the next level. So in making decision, we need information, we need knowledge. So we want to make an informed decision. Yeah, that's what the meaning of informed decision. We are making decision with our knowledge, with our skill, with our prior experience, with our wisdom. And then in order to make a decision, and we have to kind of solve the problem also at the same time. How do we do this? How do we deal with this one? So it's kind of problem solving. So that's actually engage our critical thinking and engage our ability to solve the problem. So cognitive engagement. And the other one, in making a certain decision, we have to take into account also maybe the interest of other people. So we empathize. We always think about how this decision will affect others, will impact others. So we always have the element of empathy there. Okay, so that's in the essence of scenario based learning, and this is in this module. Okay, as you can see here, I have divided into chapters: scenario based learning in a nutshell, an introduction, why is special, what is special actually, why is actually should be what is special. I don't know why I made a mistake. What is special about scenario based learning? So the what, actually the what and the why of scenario based learning, because I want to convince you this morning after our webinar this morning. Please explore further and see how you can incorporate SBL or scenario based learning in your next class or next semester. Okay. Then you will see that application of SBL in various disciplines. Remember, the strength of SBL is about applying the knowledge, the skill, the facts, the data in making decision. In making decision. So if your program, if your discipline, if your course involve some form of decision making, then scenario based learning is the one that you should use. Yeah, apart from other things. And I'll show you example of how SPL can be used in different discipline: medical, engineering, sciences, technology, industrial technology, in social science, in humanities. All are applicable. Then I will spend some time actually to show you various example, so that you now, I want you to understand that there's no limit as to what kind of SPL you can use. Only your imagination is the limit. Yeah. And what are the key elements of scenario? And then we will build a simple scenario and perhaps some example of one example of branch scenario, the more complex one. And I will share with you some of the authoring tools that you can use to develop the scenario, and resources for further exploration. Okay, so when you get this module at the end of this session, each one of these we can expand. Okay, when you see this one, actually you can expand. By the way, if you are curious what application that I used to prepare this module, I'm using Notion. Yeah, Notion, Notion, which is my favorite, one of my favorite AI application, um, which we can use for project management, especially for personal kind of information management. But I use Notion mainly uh, to create training module or teaching module. Yeah, just like the one that you are seeing now. Okay, let me introduce first. Oh, by the way, before I continue, if you have any questions, just interject anytime, as usual. Just unmute the microphone and ask the questions. If you don't feel like talking, then you can put in the chat. I hope Sarah can help me to highlight if the questions in the chat. Yeah, because I don't open the chat window so that I can it won't clutter my screen. Yeah,
Okay, Prof.
boleh Okay. But I prefer kalau if the participant can unmute the microphone, except for the YouTube lah. YouTube they have to post lah in the chat kan. Please check also question on YouTube. Okay, now let us first understand first, yeah. What is scenario-based learning? What's the meaning? What's the definition? What are the criteria or the characteristics of scenario-based learning? Let us read this together. If you are doing a lot of things at the same time, please spend like 1 minute to focus together with me now, because we need to understand the gist or the essence of scenario-based learning. So scenario-based learning is an educational approach that uses realistic and interactive scenarios, okay, to engage learners in problem solving, solving the problem, and in making decision. Actually, I mentioned a few times already, one of the strengths of scenario-based learning is to teach our students to use their knowledge, to use their skills, their experience, their wisdom to make a decision. Imagine if you give more kind of practice for the students to make decision making, to make decision when they go out, they should be ready to in the real world making decision. So that's the gist of scenario-based learning. Uses realistic and interactive scenarios to engage learners in problem solving and decision-making processes. So this is easily C3, C4. C4, analyze. In order to solve the problem, they have to analyze. Analyze the data, analyze the facts, analyze the situation, analyze the options. So C4 easily and higher. It mimics real-world challenges, allowing learners to apply theoretical knowledge in practical situations. So apply is C3, right? It can be also C4, thereby enhancing critical thinking. That's the bottom line, the outcome, practical skill and knowledge retention. SBL encourages active participation, provides immediate feedback. This is another strength of scenario-based learning. There must always be feedback. If there is no feedback, then you cannot call it scenario-based learning. Incomplete. And if you know, research have shown, for example, John Hattie, I presented this last week with another group. John Hattie, if you read the book by John Hattie, Visible Learning, Visible Learning, from his meta-analysis, he has shown that scenario-based learning works, and not only work, it works best for a higher order kind of engagement, higher order thinking. And John Hattie also have shown from the meta-analysis that feedback has high impact on students' learning. That's why we must always give feedback to our students after the first test or the second test. Yeah. Well, having said that, maybe I also failed to do that effectively last time, especially in my early part of my career. But I learned from my experience. So immediate feedback and fosters a deep understanding, not shallow understanding, not surface understanding. That's what scenario-based learning, if we design well designed, yeah. Deep understanding of the subject matter through experiential learning and risk-free environment. They can take the risk. They don't have to be afraid to take this option, that option, third option, because they know if they take the wrong option, they will learn something from it. They won't get into trouble, but they will learn something from that mistake, because we will give feedback why they make the wrong choice. We give feedback, and then we give them the opportunity to try again. Okay, so scenario-based learning is very good for formative formative assessment, not so much for summative. Not to say we cannot use for summative, we can use for essay type question, we can use scenario based. In fact, for multiple choice also, for multiple choice MCQ, we can use so-called, I have some example of how you can convert MCQ to scenario based learning. We call it mini scenario. Yeah, we call it mini scenario. If you Google, then you'll find the work of apa ni, siapa nama dia? Lupa pula dah. That lady, dia banyak, she actually developed technique to develop mini scenario suitable for MCQ type questions. Lupa nama dia. Right. So scenario based learning actually putting the learner, so this is the learner, in a situation where there are many choices. So they have to now make a choice. Whether I go left, I go right, I go straight. But before I make that decision, I'm going to apply whatever knowledge that I have, so that when I make a decision, when I make a choice, I make an informed choice, informed decision. All right. So, any question on the meaning of, on the what of scenario-based learning? Along the way, we
Prof,
will, yeah, silakan.
okay, I think I saw some question. One
Okay.
question is from YouTube audience. Hi, Prof. How much have you been spending to use the full version of all the apps? Those poor academics might not be able to afford this.
Oh, how much in terms of money?
Yes, correct. I think budgeting, budgeting question.
You don't want to know. Well, like this one, Notion, the application that I use to prepare this module, I pay 10 USD per month, monthly. 10, mana lebih kurang RM50, 40 lebih ringgit, almost RM50 a month. Then I'm paying for Mid Journey, I pay yearly. I pay around like 1,000 plus, I think, a year. So you divide by 12 lah kan. Then I have ChatGPT $20. I have put together probably I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 ringgit a year. A year, I'm talking about a year, yeah. But that's the best investment that I can make, that I have made, and it has given me 100 times more the value, provided dengan syarat, on condition that you use it extensively. Okay, right. So thank you for the questions.
Okay, Prof. There's another question.
Yeah. Okay.
From Mr. Isaac Hisham Ahmad. What is the difference between SBL and design thinking?
Okay, we are coming to that. Oh, with design thinking, I thought the question is what is the difference between scenario-based learning and problem-based learning. Usually people will ask that, yeah. But with design thinking, design thinking is actually more we use design thinking more to design when you design, let's say, embark on designing a project. Okay, so what are the elements, what are the procedures or steps involved there, starting from the conception of the idea. But one of the similarities between scenario-based learning and design thinking is the element of empathy. Yeah, we empathize with our prospective customers, prospective clients, our stakeholders, and so on. So we have the element of empathy in design thinking when you design something, when you design a project, and so on. In scenario-based learning, the element of empathy is also there. That's why we call it the emotion part, the feeling, the affective. Because before you make a decision, you must consider how your decision will make an impact or will affect other people, not just for yourself, but for others. That's the best, one of the good things about scenario-based learning. Let's say you make a decision, but your decision actually will make increase the carbon footprint, contohnya. If scenario about net zero contoh kan, your decision actually will increase your profit, but it will also increase the carbon footprint. So you are not empathize with the environment. You're not empathize with the people. It's just for yourself. You are being selfish. That's yeah. Okay. We will have more example later on. Ada maybe one final question before we move on apa ni Sarah?
Yes, one final question will
Okay.
be from Amiro. Is it SBL same with problem-based learning?
We are coming to that. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll defer that. Okay. Thank you. So let us move on. Now, what is special about scenario-based learning? Actually, why is special is wrong. So I want to go back to my edit mode. This if you see the bottom at the bottom screen here, at the bottom of the screen, this is my Notion. So I'm the edit mode now. So all I need to do now is just to change this to what? What is special? So it will be updated, save automatically. So I'll go back to the view mode. Then I'll just refresh. Belum lagi. Okay, kejap. Dia take time to. Okay, dah. Mudah kan? Mudah kan? Then you boleh update you punya module anytime. Okay, so we are done with the what of scenario based. Sorry, some introduction of the definition of scenario based learning. Maybe you want to know more. Okay, what is special about scenario based learning? Why I'm promoting scenario based learning to you? Yeah, because I believe in it. I believe if you want to provide a very engaging learning experience, and this is especially so for online learning. For online learning, if you are designing micro-credential, MOOC, and ODL. Siapa ODL kat sini? People from PPJJ ada tak? I want to see how many people from PPJJ. Please raise your hand. Okay. For ODL courses kan, my dear friends, I galakkan, sangat-sangat galakkan you all explore scenario based learning, because this is one of the best way lah, I would say to engage students, yeah. Rather than you give them content.
So now it depends on the program.
Okay. Ada orang bagi kuliah at the same time listening to the okay. Yeah, because this is a thing, rather than you just give content in your online course, you have the video, you have the slides, everything. Why not create learning activities using scenario based and let students uncover the content when they do the scenario based learning. Okay, let them uncover the concept, let them uncover the principles, let them learn the facts by doing the scenario. Okay, so traditional learning, you are told what we need to know. So the learners are told what they need to know. This is the learning outcome. At the end of this course, you should be able to, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to. Then you give the content. You present the PowerPoint, you give them the video, you give them the reading material. Then students would memorize it, right? They will learn the content as much as they can. Then we give them assessment, problem assigned to illustrate how to do it. Let them solve the problem, let them do the MCQ, let them do the assignment and so on. So that's a kind of the traditional way of doing things. But scenario-based learning is kind of we flip the whole thing, it's kind of reverse, backward. So we start with, if you want to teach a concept, for example, or teach a topic, we give them the problem. Just like problem-based learning, scenario-based learning is actually a kind of a type of problem also. So we assign the problem in the form of scenario, and then the learners have to study the scenario, and they have to now identify what what kind of principle or concept or facts that they need to apply, in order to make a decision to solve the problem. Okay, so they are applying, analyzing, synthesizing, evaluating the situation, evaluating the options before they move on. When they make the choice can, whether the choice is the right one or the wrong one, they will get a feedback. If the choice is right, good. If the choice is correct, good. But they will get a feedback why the choice is correct. If the choice is wrong, then they will be informed or explain why the choice is wrong. So they will learn all the way until the end of the scenario. Every step they will learn something because they always get feedback. That's the beauty and the power of scenario-based learning. Okay, and then they learn and apply it to solve the problem. Nampak tak? Can you see the difference between the kind of traditional way of approaching our teaching? But scenario-based is actually flip the thing. If you want to read more, once you have access to this module, you can click the link down here and it will take you to the full article on the website. I borrow this slide or this image from this article. Sorry, I hear something just now. Ya, silakan.
Boleh tanya soalan ke?
Ya, terus saja tanya, tak
Okey,
apa.
so
Siapa ni?
saya nak tanya, saya
Dr.
ni Dr.
Ainur.
Ain.
Ya, Dr. Ain, sorry, Dr. Ain,
Abang
ya.
Hakak. Okey, nak tanya apa
baik.
ni? Saya mengajar business ethics ya. Alright, so untuk business ethics, memang kita kena ada juga certain human governance dan juga memanglah masukkan juga unsur-unsur empathy. Jadi, saya nak tanya apa beza scenario based learning ni dengan cara yang kita buat sekarang ni, di mana kita akan bagi satu case study dan dalam masa yang sama kita memang kena identify what's the issue dan apakah daripada pandangan berbeza untuk orang yang buat keputusan tu. Jadi adakah yang ini scenario based learning juga ataupun berbeza?
Okay, terima kasih Dr. Ain. Good questions, but I'm not going to answer the question now. I will defer that. I will go through dan kita go through sama-sama. Dr. Ain will be here until the end ke atau ada kelas nanti?
Tak salah saya petang nanti. So hari ni
Okay.
memang ada lah.
So nanti kita go through sama-sama. Nanti saya nak Dr. Ain sendiri jawab soalan tu. Okay. Because nanti towards the end we will see more lah. You will see more and I will reveal more. Then you will see, oh okay, nampak perbezaan dia. So nak minta Dr. Ain nanti cuba jawab soalan tu, then of course apa ni kita boleh bincang sama-sama. Boleh ya Dr. Ain ya? Okay, good. Now, okay, application, ini ada lagi ke? Okay, tak ada. Application of SBL in various discipline. Kalau macam Dr. Ain tadi mengajar governance kan, ethics and governance, memang a very good candidate for SBL. But I know management people banyak guna case study kan. Okay, case study is fine, is good. But ada perbezaan, subtle difference. Actually not to say subtle, mungkin ada banyak juga perbezaan dengan scenario based learning. But SBL is actually applicable in across the board, across the program, across the discipline. Let's say, yeah. Okay. I have a few, because I know the people from USM, mainly the target audience today is mainly for USM also, although we open to public. So we have medical program, we have engineering, we have technology, industrial manufacturing. I saw Prof. Noli here just now. How many from TI? I hope many. SBL, ini Dr. Ain ya, in management and business education. SBL and humanities, I saw tadi ada apa ni, Prof. Wan from humanities. So I'm trying to cater for everyone here. Yeah? Let's see SBL in medical education. Okay, so SBL in medical education allows for realistic, immersive. That's another keyword. Immersive learning. Immersive ni, the meaning of immersive, when the students engage in the the scenario-based learning or engage in the process, they become so immersed, they become so engrossed. When you become so engrossed, you are basically in your element, so to speak. You don't care about other things around you. You are so focused on solving the problem or on solving the whatever that you are doing. That's the meaning of immersive. Don't you want to create such activity that really make the students really engross? Of course we want, right? And scenario-based learning, if it's well designed, and we will see some examples later on, it will achieve this one. Because the way we write scenario is like writing a story. In fact, scenario-based learning is basically storytelling. You can have a conversation, you can have conflicts, you can have a twist of the plot, and so on. That's why it's not easy to create a scenario. Now with ChatGPT, probably easier. Okay. The idea, the reason, the objective is to really make the students really engaged and really excited and really kind of capture their attention. Just like scenario-based learning is very similar to kind of adventure game. Ya, choose your own adventure. Siapa yang dulu kecil-kecil suka main di kan, choose your own adventure kan. Macam dulu I suka baca buku The Hardy Boys dan sebagainya kan. Memang seronok kan? Memang seronok baca. So kita nak, that's what scenario-based learning is. You must design in such a way. And it's interactive because the learner have to respond to the situation. Yeah. Interactive learning environment where students can practice and refine their clinical skill in this medical, because there is medical education. They can refine their clinical skill, decision making. Doctor have to make a lot of decision and within a very short time. Okay, communication and teamwork. This experiential learning approach prepares them for the complexities and challenges of real world medical practice, enhancing their competency and confidence as healthcare professionals. So, some example of how SBL can be used in medical education. Clinical decision making scenario. A patient with the chest pain is presented and student must diagnose and treat the condition. Application. Students learn to gather patient history. From the scenario-based learning, the outcome is what? Students learn to apply the knowledge. For example, the skill to gather patient history, the skill of interviewing the patient, interview the patient. Okay, the ethics, the technique, how to get the complete answer, accurate answer from the patient in a very kind of orang kata ethical and well mannered way. Conduct physical examination, interpret diagnosis tests, make treatment decisions. This scenario teaches different diagnosis, decision making under pressure. Because if the patient come in the emergency room, and not only one patient, there are many patients there, all requires urgent attention. How do they make a decision there? Scenario-based learning is best fit for that. And the integration of various aspects of medical knowledge. Okay, that's one. Emergency response scenario. A high fidelity simulation of an emergency room. In fact, one of the examples that I'm going to show you is this one here, where a patient with life-threatening condition, they come in, they shout to you, oh, sakit. You get panic, especially if you're a young doctor, right? Like an acute myocardial infarction or severe trauma is brought in. Application, students learn, practice emergency care protocol, teamwork, and so on. They must rapidly assess patient condition. They don't have time, They don't have time to Google also or to ask ChatGPT. Prioritize intervention and work collaboratively with the nurses and so on and stabilize the patient. That we can create through scenario-based learning. Chronic disease management. Okay. Interprofessional collaboration, ethical and legal consideration, passion, communication, and counseling. So, okay, I don't have time to really go through one by one, but we will have access to this module. But just to give you some general idea of how SPL can be used in medical. Let's see how it can be used in engineering education. Engineers also, the nature of their work, of their job, is also need to make decision on daily basis. So how do we train our engineering students on that? How many of you are from engineering today? Yeah. How many participants we have now? Okay. So if you are from engineering, let's see. Okay. They can in design and innovation scenario, for example, designing a new product or system. So okay, if we combine, imagine if we combine scenario-based learning, another activity, we have design thinking, complement each other. Imagine if you are using all this technique as part of your learning activities, your assessment. Of course, it requires more time to design this. But now with AI, things can be done very quickly. Yeah. Okay. Project management scenario, managing a complex engineering project with constraint. So this is where making decision is needed because there are constraints. If you take this one, but you compromise on the safety, for example, but you use a low cost steel, cheaper steel, but you compromise on the safety of the bridge, is that a wise decision? Something like that. Okay. Project management, yeah, a timeline, resources, and so on. Troubleshooting and problem solving. Engineer by training is always must have a good and excellent problem solving skill. So we can develop that skill during the 4 years in our program using problem based, scenario based, design thinking, case study, and so on. Sustainability and ethics, developing an engineering solution that address sustainability issues. So if we do this, then at the same time, we can incorporate the element of sustainability, SDG. Then when people ask, oh, how do you incorporate SDG in your course? Then it's, oh yeah, we have, learning activities, assessment. For example, we use problem-based, we use case study, we use scenario-based, and the theme is sustainability. That's how we do. We infuse SDG within these activities. Interdisciplinary collaboration, real world industry challenges. So these are example for engineering. Okay, what about in technology like industrial technology, industrial manufacturing, and so on? How can we use SPL? Manufacturing process simulation, industrial automation and robotics, to design and implementing an automated system or robot to perform specific tasks. Okay, so when you do the scenario-based learning, students get to learn programming, mechatronics, robotic principles. A lot of things can happen within, especially if you use complex branching kind of scenario. But even with simple scenario, student can still learn a lot. Yeah. Maintenance and troubleshooting, supply chain and logistic management, like MBA also, Dr. Hani, I don't know whether you are still there. I saw your name just now. Supply chain and logistic management. This is part of the MBA and also management degree, kan? So banyak. There are many kind of scenario that you can create. Managing supply chain for an industrial operation, addressing challenges like inventory, shortages, like the scenario when Suez Canal was blocked by this ship, right? So that affect the supply chain around the world. So that's one good scenario. So then you can have many choices now, options now. If you take this option, what's going to happen? If you take this option, what's going to happen? So there's a supply chain kind of scenario. Okay. Safety and compliance, innovation and product development. So that's some examples of how SBL can be used for technology and industrial manufacturing. What about management and business education? Atau AIN, yeah. Strategic decision making. So in your course governance and ethics kan, banyak mungkin situation where you have to make a strategic decision making. There's a difference between just making a decision and making a decision that is very strategic. When you say something strategic, meaning that will have a long-term impact. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dato' Ain, yeah? When you say strategic decision making, whatever the decision that you take now will have a long-term impact. Not only short-term or medium-term impact, but long-term impact. So this is where you need a lot of data, facts, evidence. Okay. Then you need to now use your emotion, your feeling, your empathy. If I make that decision, what would be the impact in short term, mid term, and long term? We empathize. But yeah, so strategic decision making, leadership and team management, financial management, marketing and market research, operation and supply chain again, entrepreneurship and business planning. So many things. These are only some of the things that you can do. Finally, SBL in humanities and social sciences. So I've already gone like 1 hour. Yeah. So we have another 2 hours to go. SBL in humanities and social sciences and education. Maybe we can take a break shortly, about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. In humanities and social sciences, ethical dilemmas and moral reasoning. For example, scenario facing an ethical dilemma such as deciding whether to publish a controversial historical document and how to allocate limited resources and humanitarian crisis. Yeah. So when you have a situation where you can put the students in a dilemma, meaning that they have to make a choice, that's a very good fit for scenario-based learning. Okay. Cultural studies and diversity, historical simulation, social policy and public admin, psychology and behavioral studies, media and communication. Okay. I think probably that gives you some idea of how you can use SBL in your own discipline. I hope this spark ideas in your mind now. At least you can see, oh, okay, SBL. If you have understood just now the definition of what is scenario-based learning, then perhaps now you can relate. You can relate or resonate with your own course. Relate with your own course. You can kind of contextualize it in your own application. How scenario-based learning can be useful. Yeah. Okay, so I've covered the meaning of scenario-based learning, what is so special about scenario-based learning, and application of SPL in various discipline. In the PowerPoint, actually, basically, yeah, the same thing. There are other additional things also in the PowerPoint. Later on, you can see. But I put this slide with this picture because there's a meaning. There's a meaning to it. This is like PI, private investigator. If you have watched the last time Colombo, there's a TV program, Inspector Colombo. I really, when I was still in UK, one of my favorite TV program is Colombo. I don't watch TV much, but the Colombo I remember. So private investigator. So actually scenario-based learning is a bit like doing an investigation, because you have to collect the evidence, you must have all the evidence, the data. You talk to people like Inspector Colombo, and then you try to kind of summarize or to surmise, to make a conjecture. Okay, if this is the case, if these are the evidence, what is my next course of action? Yeah, so that's basically scenario-based learning. Very interesting, actually. So this is okay. I think basically I've explained the what, the why, and so on. So okay, the benefits, I think this is I don't want to elaborate so much. You can read on your own. What's more important, after we take a short break, I want to show you several examples so that it become clearer to you now, the characteristics of scenario-based learning, and probably it will spark more ideas for you how to use scenario-based learning. And so this after the break, scenario-based learning versus okay, I will explain briefly what's the difference between scenario-based learning and problem-based learning before we take a break. And then I will continue with exploring example after the break, and then key elements of scenario, and then we will build the scenario together using ChatGPT. All right. So just a few more minutes before we take a short break. What's the differences between how does scenario-based learning (SBL) differ from problem-based learning? So these are some of the differences. Core focus. Scenario-based learning, decision making within specific, often narrative driven scenario. So scenario based learning, if you want to remember easily, just samakan scenario based learning dengan storytelling lah. Okay, storytelling. In the story, there are problems to solve, or there are decisions to be made. So also always remember, also kaitkan scenario based learning dengan decision making. Dia mesti ada decision making. And in order to make decision, you must have knowledge, you must have information, you must have data, you must have skill, experience. Yeah. Then the scenario is always presented as a story. Okay. Once upon a time, something like that. Okay. Whereas problem-based learning, the learners are presented with open-ended problems, but there's always a solution at the end, right? There's always a solution. But in scenario-based learning, at the end, probably there will be not only one outcome, there can be two or more outcomes. It depends on the choice that you have made. If you take choice number one or option number one, probably it will lead to outcome number one. If you choose choice number two, it will lead to outcome number two, and so on. So there are multiple possible outcomes. Whereas in problem-based learning is basically solving the problem, and there will be a simple or more complex solution at the end. Then in terms of structure, scenario-based learning is highly structured with predefined narrative, and there are decision point. At least for simple scenario, you have maybe one so-called decision point. For more complex, multiple branching scenario, probably you have two or more decision point. You have to make decision at certain point. Problem-based learning, in terms of structure, is more open-ended, with learners guiding the learning process based on the problem's requirement. In terms of learning process, scenario-based learning is more guided learning through interactive scenario that mimic real-world situation. Problem-based, more self-directed, meaning that the students have more control Yeah. In scenario-based learning, the scenario is controlled by whoever that create the scenario, not the student. But in problem-based, you give the problem, but students have a kind of a freedom, or they have more control how they want to solve the problem. As long as towards the end they solve the problem, but how they solve the problem, they can have some control there. Okay. Role of learner in scenario-based learning: active participant making decisions within the given scenarios. In problem-based, active student, the learner or the student become active investigator, defining learning needs and seeking information to solve the problem. Learning outcome in scenario-based, specific skill or knowledge related to the scenario. Because the scenario-based learning is always designed from the learning outcome, based on to align with certain learning outcome. Of course, the same thing also from problem-based. Yeah, tapi in problem-based is more kind of the learning outcome to give the students more broad understanding of the subject area and development of research and analytical skill. Actually, in scenario-based learning also, they have to develop an analytical skill. Yeah, so there's a kind of subtle difference there. Collaboration is scenario-based. They can it can be individual. You can do scenario based on your own, but they can also work together with other people. Tapi problem based must always be group based. Yeah. Feedback. Scenario based learning must have wajib, mesti ada feedback. Okay. The feedback is given based on the decision made, the choice made by the student. In problem based, the feedback is always ongoing. While the students are solving the problem, or the learners are solving the problem, the feedback keep on coming from the facilitator and guide them towards solving the problem. The narrative for scenario based is a must. It's like a storytelling. For problem based, is like, you just state the problem. Okay, this is a problem, solve it. Okay. So before I stop now, pause for break. Any question on this difference, the differences between scenario and problem based? I hope that answers the questions. For those who always get confused between scenario based and problem based learning. In terms of the difference between scenario based and the design thinking, as you can see, as I've mentioned earlier, um, the design thinking, we are looking at the whole kind of process for the whole kind of, if you're designing one project, one product, or you embark on a certain project design, or big project to do something in the process, can be the process, can be the product. So you are looking at, from the conception of the idea, step by step, until you come up to the prototype, and so on. So it's the whole thing. But scenario is focused on certain scenario to test the student understanding and the ability to apply, to analyze, and so on that given scenario. Same thing for problem. All right. 10:35. Let's take about 10 minutes break. We come back 10:45. Boleh? All right. Okay. So see you in 10 minutes. Okay, welcome back. Shall we continue? Now, let me answer the question in the chat. I've answered in the chat also, but let me pick up these questions. Anyway, can we use? Okay, first the question: can we use SBL as the first stage before embarking to problem-based learning? I don't think it, we we don't have to use SBL and PBL in sequential. I think they are kind of more kind of independently. We can use them independently. So whether you use PBL then for another topic or for another concept or for another learning outcome, you use SBL. So basically they are meant to complement and to give students different kind of experience. You give them variety of activities, learning activities. If you use problem-based learning all the way throughout the course, it can be boring also. So this actually learning all these different things is to spice up your teaching, spice up your course, so that the students always remember. I used to say in some of my presentation, great teachers, great educators are unpredictable. Why they are unpredictable? Because they are crazy. Crazy in the sense that every time they step into the classroom, there's always something different that they will do. So when you do that all the time, you create curiosity. The students are, okay, this time Dr. Ain nak buat apa pula ya? So they always waiting, and always curious. That's what we want to create excitement. Okay, so we can use problem based, we can use scenario based. When you use scenario based, the beauty of scenario based, because you can create so many different scenarios. Some are simple scenarios that doesn't require students to crack their head so much. Some is a more complex scenario, so you don't want to give all the simple scenarios for everything, all the complex scenarios for everything, but you want to mix them. Yeah. And Dr. Sodi said, I agree with Dr. Sodi that SBL scenario based is more focused and constrained within that scenario. Okay. Whereas PBL is more open-ended. Yeah, that's the main characteristics of PBL, open-ended problem. So two students will have probably a different kind of approach to come up with a solution because it's open-ended, right? Okay, there's a question from Dr. Aisha. Bishop Dr. Aisha. I know that Dr. Aisha from USM. This one from YouTube. Yeah. Let's say introduction to statistic class. Yeah. The playing with data plus exploring concept based on data. Can we consider that, playing with different data set as a scenario? Well, if we just give them the data, give the students data, and then ask the students to do something, analyze or whatever, then you give them another set of data and ask them to interpret or to analyze, to do whatever. To me, that's not a fulfill the criteria of scenario. Later on, after we have gone through some example, we will look at more closely what are the criteria of scenario based learning. Then you will see more clearly there whether what you are doing now is considered scenario or not. There are at least 4 or 5 criteria, things you must have to call your scenario a scenario or scenario based learning. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I shall proceed now. So before the break, we have covered 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now let's explore some example of SPL. Now you will see more clearly now with various example to understand more what is scenario-based learning and the characteristics. Let's embark on an adventure, shall we? Okay. When we talk about scenario-based, there are simple scenario-based learning. So maybe it will lead to maybe only 1 or 2 learning outcome. Sorry, 1 or 2 outcomes. Yeah, I'm not talking about learning outcome, but outcomes of that scenario. But the more challenging one is complex branching scenario. So I have some example here. I have many example for each one. Yeah. So let's see a simple scenario-based learning. All right. If you are doing a few things at the same time now, if you can spend some time to focus on this part, because if when you look at this example, it will really give you more understanding, clear picture, yeah, of what is scenario-based learning. This one is simple scenario. And this particular example is a good example of this guy, this person who, I mean, this example that he or she developed, I don't know he or she, but the author used ChatGPT to create the storyline. Okay, to create a storyline. Okay, let look at this example of simple scenario-based learning. AI therapeutic communication scenario. One example of proof of concept in using ChatGPT to create branching scenario. So this is actually not really simple scenario. It's a kind of branching, but maybe not so complex. Yeah. Okay. Applying therapeutic communication for an elderly patient with dementia. The way we present scenario-based learning, especially for online learning, we have this kind of introductory picture or slide, yeah, the title, and then start the course. And this is the link. Nanti later on you can explore. You can click here. So you can click here or you can click here. Same thing. Okay. So the picture of an old guy here, a patient. So this is a health care kind of scenario. The title is applying therapeutic communication. So can you guess what is the outcome here? To teach actually in this case, to teach the nurse how to communicate with the patient in order to examine him, in order to take his blood pressure, to give him medication, whatever. What's the best way to communicate for an elderly patient? There's a reason why it's mentioned here, elderly patient, because elderly patient probably more sensitive. If you don't speak properly, then, maybe he or she will get upset. There are techniques to speak, to communicate with elderly patient. And this elderly patient has dementia, forgetful kan. So start the course. Okay. Now, sometimes there's a music background and narration also, voiceover. Yeah? But in this case, there is no music, there's no voiceover. It's a simple one. And the scenario will present you the scenario. Introduce the scenario. Okay, introduction. The following is a proof of concept of how a combination of AI technologies. So I choose this example actually to show you how this author used AI to develop the storyline. Yeah. Could be leveraged to provide an immersive virtual learning experience. The technology used include, okay, ChatGPT to create a appropriate dialogue. There's a dialogue. There's a conversation between the patient and the nurse. And then the picture, the image, just now, the image of the old guy, right? It was created using Midjourney. And I will show my own example also, how this can be done also. Mid-Journey for creation of patient images. Because when you create a story, of course, you can just create text, 100% text-based, or everything text. Just like when you do, you play the adventure game, right? Only text-based adventure game. But wouldn't it more interesting to spice up with the image, relevant image? Of course, right? But if you don't have AI, it's difficult to find the image that really matches with our story. But now with AI, we can just create the image to match our story. That's the beauty. That's why I said with AI, creating scenario base is getting much, much easier. Okay, click the button in the upper right to continue. So sometimes there's an instruction to make sure that the learner can navigate the things easily. We don't want the learner to get confused. So this is part of the best practices in the design part. Proceed. Okay. Scenario introduction. So now the author introduced the scenario to the learner. In this scenario, you are a nurse working at a long-term cafe facility. Long-term cafe. Bulan puasa ni nampak care jadi cafe. Long-term care facility. Tasked with caring for an elderly, ketawa tasked with caring for an elderly male patient who is suffering for dementia. So you give the learner the scenario, okay, as much information as possible, because the learner will make a decision later on. Your patient, Mr. Williams, requires his morning cardiac medication, and it is your responsibility to ensure that he takes it safely and effectively. Okay? Wah, masa berlalu pantas. I need to go to this example slowly because I want you to understand, macam mana, how this thing is structured and designed, And at the same time, I want you all to observe and think, get your brain thinking now, note down what are the characteristics of scenario-based learning. I want to ask later on, So this will require you to use your knowledge of therapeutic communication and your ability to manage challenging patient situations. You must listen to Mr. Williams' concerns and provide him with the information he needs to feel comfortable taking his medication. The goal is to help Mr. Williams take this medication in a way that maintains his safety and well-being while also ensuring that his health needs are met. While I'm going through this example, I want your brain working to think about how do you apply now in your own course, in your own scenario. What kind of scenario that I can create? Yeah, keep thinking. Okay, now proceed. And here, the learning objective is presented to the learner. What will you learn at the end of this scenario? Understanding and demonstrating effective therapeutic communication techniques, handling patient resistant. Kalau patient resistant, or they don't want to take the medication, whatever, how do you deal with that? Verifying patient information and accurately taking vitals. Providing clear explanation of medical procedures and medication. All these four learning outcomes can be achieved from this scenario. But now, proceed. Scene 1. Okay, scene 1. You enter the patient's room. So now the learner has to visualize. Imagine, okay, I'm a nurse. I'm entering the room, which is located in long-term facility care for elderly patient. The room is well lit with natural light coming through the windows and decorated with patient's personal belongings, such as all this detail actually will kind of help you, the learner, to visualize what is the situation you are in now. The patient and elderly man is in his late 80s with white hair dan okay, blank expression because the dementia kan. Okay, proceed. Now, you just enter the room to care for the patient. What should you do first? Let's say you are a nurse now, you undergo a training program now. You enter the room, you see the patient, but you have not yet talked to the patient yet. You just enter. What should you do first? Ask the patient, what's your name and birth date? Say to the patient, good morning, Mr. William. I'm Nurse Tran, and I'm here to take care of you. Can I have your name and birth date, please? Or approach the bed and immediately starts checking the patient's vital, as this is the most critical information at this time. Walk over to the patient and say, I need your name and birthday for my records. In scenario-based learning, actually the learner is encouraged to go through all these options so that they will learn the implication when they take the wrong option or they make the right choice or the wrong choice. They will learn something from there. Learn from mistake, right? So let's say we take this one. Approach the bed and immediately starts checking the patient vital. I think common sense will tell us that this probably not the right option, right? You just straight away taking the information. But let's see. Okay, then you take the third option just now, and this is the conversation with the patient. The nurse remains silent upon entering the room. Tak bagi salam, tak bagi good morning, Mr. Williams, how are you today? And the patient ni kata hello. Sebab the nurse diam je, muka tegang aja kan. But the patient, hello. Oh, hello, who are you? Dia kata, dia tak kenal kan, dementia kan. The nurse, yes. The patient, I don't recognize you. What are you doing here? The nurse, I'm the nurse taking care of you today. I'm here to check on you and make sure you are feeling okay. Patient, I don't remember you. Padahalnya nurse tu baru je datang semalam. Why should I trust you? The nurse, I understand that it can be confusing to have new people around, sir. I'm here to help make you comfortable and ensure you receive the care you need. The patient, I don't like strangers in my room. I want you to leave. That's a conversation because you take the third option just now. So, what is the feedback from this situation and this option and this conversation? Proceed. Let's try that again. So that means I have taken the wrong option or not inappropriate choice. Reflection. So this is a feedback from the scenario designer. Reflection. And this is where I, as a learner, learn. Oh, okay, I made a wrong choice. Why? Because in this scenario, the nurse lack of proper introduction and initial silence made the patient will feel unsure and uncomfortable. The patient's confusion and memory loss combined with the nurse's poor communication resulted in the patient asking the nurse to leave, ending the interaction poorly and preventing the nurse from providing the necessary care for the patient. Proceed. Then we'll take back to the scene and then proceed to the option. Just now I take third one. So now I will try the second one or the first one or the last one. So let's see very quick one and this is a conversation. Then I proceed. Okay, inappropriate again. Let's try that and there's the feedback and so on so forth. So I don't want to go through the whole thing, but I hope you get the point. How this thing actually designed. Let's look at the second example. Yeah. So we close this one. Let's look at the second example, which this example, I designed this scenario. Again, the scenario was created in ChatGPT, and then the image was created also in ChatGPT, provided you have ChatGPT Plus, because if you have ChatGPT Plus, you can create an image inside or within ChatGPT Plus. So the scenario is this. This is actually HR, human resource kind of subject. You are managing a team project and notice that one of the team members is consistently missing deadlines, which is affecting the project's progress. So we have our team member missing the deadlines, meaning that they don't give the full commitment. What course of action should you pursue? You are the manager. What course of action, or you are the team leader? What course of action should you pursue? Okay, so you are presented with 4 options here. By the way, I designed the storyline in ChatGPT. I designed the image in Midjourney, in ChatGPT also in this case. And then I put together for the presentation using Google Form. This is only Google Form, yeah. So let me click this one, view this example. So a simple scenario-based learning example, and it's good practice to give the instruction to the learner, tell them what they need to do, what you want them to do, explain everything so that they don't get confused, they don't get lost. Okay, what they need to do, carefully evaluate each option, select and learn from each option, absorb the feedback fully, learn from the feedback, engage with additional activity, and then reflect on your experience. Okay, so again, to spice up, to make the scenario more interesting, why not? We can create the image, because it's so easy to create an image now if we have ChatGPT Plus. So create the image using a certain prompt relevant to the storyline. Okay, this is a scenario just now. You are managing the team and so on. So what should you do? Because one of your team members keep on missing deadline. Okay, option 1, ignore the behavior and hope it improves on its own. Option 2, confront the team member aggressively in front of the whole team. Option 3, have a private and constructive conversation with the team member to understand the reason behind the missed deadline and offer support. Option number 4, reassign the team member's tasks to others without discussing the issue. Probably common sense will say that probably option number 3 would be best. But let's say we take option number 4, reassign the team members. Because you don't want to deal with the person, then we just reassign the another team member with the task, take over from her or him. Okay, so kenapa dia ada ni pula kat bawah, tak nampak patutnya. Tak refresh. Tak apa. So I take the 4th option, ignore this part. Next. Okay. Debriefing. Debriefing maknanya reflection lah. It's not debriefing for the full, it's debriefing for, sorry, ini wrong ni. Kenapa? Clear selection. Oh, okay. Sorry. So option number 4, reassign the team members' tasks to others without discussing the issue. Okay, next. So I choose option number 4, which is reassign the team members' tasks to others without discussing the issue. Outcome, if you choose option number 4, the outcome is this. The workload of the other team members increases. That's the implication. Leading to burnout and resentment. Asyik aku je dapat buat kerja ni. Mentang-mentang aku rajin. Mentang-mentang aku ni efficient. Kan? Dia tu mengelat. Jadi bos ni bila dia tak mau confront the person, dia kata okay tak apalah Karim, you rajin kan, you ambil je lah. Malah nak layan dia lah. So this option is inappropriate because it avoids addressing the root cause and unfairly impacts other team members. Hint. So now I'm the author giving hint to the learner. What should be the more appropriate option? Hint or more appropriate action. Direct communication with the individual can lead to solution that don't overburden others. Try another option. So the student will go back to scenario, back. Then we'll go through again the option with the hint just now. Then maybe now it guide the learners to go to option 3. Maybe this one direct kind of confronting or addressing the issue with the person. Then go next. And then option 3, have a private and constructive conversation with the team member. Outcome-nya, the team members explain they were unclear. Bukan dia nak mengelat. It's not that he or she doesn't want to do the work or miss the deadline because he or she was unclear about the project requirement, or it seems that now the fault is the manager's fault because instruction is not very clear. So together you clarify the expectation and agree on a plan for improvement. Then back to then there's a picture here. The picture here, the manager, which one the manager, we don't know, confront the person, see the person has a lot of work on the table, then explain the situation and so on. So it kind of illustrate the story, illustrate uh, the scenario here. Okay, then go back and so on. So if I go to if I go to the option number 1, because I want to know what happened if I ignore the behavior, then I go next, then there's explanation. Okay, this is not it's not an appropriate option, because the outcome is not good one. So this is inappropriate because. So these are the feedback to the learner. When you take this option, this is the outcome and this is the feedback. Can you see how much learning happens here? I hope you can see. Yeah. And of course the picture, all these are I generate using Chat GPT. The outcome, the hint, everything that you see on the slides here, on the screen here, created by Chat GPT. The picture also created by Chat GPT. Okay, so I hope at this point you get the idea. Then there's a third example here of scenario to give you more ideas. This is also I designed this scenario, but I borrow the story. I borrow the scenario from Articulate. Okay, but I designed this. This one I designed in Google Form. This one I designed in an application, free application called Ink Writer. Ink, that what? Ink Writer, one word here. So, and this is free. Actually, this application, Ink Writer, is mainly meant to create interactive story. So for those from education, I don't know whether Dr. Lau Hui Ming is here. If you want to create interactive story, interactive story ni mana story yang ada banyak cabang. Dia ada banyak ending, dia ada banyak tau. So it's very interesting also. So it's similar to scenario based. So if you want, I'm not going to show you in how to use it. Hopefully we can have another session for that. Today, basically just to give you ideas of what are the, how you can use scenario based in your course. Yeah? Why does customer service matter? So view this example. And this is how it looks like. Okay. Why customer service matter? So the picture and then the background or the scenario is given here. Then the option. In this case, there are two options. Yes, let's go. I'm excited. I'm not ready yet. Okay, let's show this one. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm so excited. Let me make it bigger. I'm so excited. That's the option that I choose. That's great. Now, for each of the following scenarios, use our 4 essential customer service skills to help the customer. So meaning that this scenario is to train the customer service people, the new one, the new is onboarding kind of program, how to deal with the customer with different kind of complaints and so on. So how to deal? There are 4 basic skills, 4 essentials customer service skill. This is what the scenario will teach the trainees. Yeah. So continue. Scene number 1. Let's meet Nora. So there's Nora. All the bags from shopping. Well, begin with Nora, a regular customer who's requesting a refund. Oh, dia datang nak minta refund for an item that's outside our return window. Refund punya time dah habis. Tapi Nora datang, hey, hello, I want to get my refund. I want to have refund. Then kata dia go to the customer service counter. Nora kata, I purchased this item a while ago and it's not very good quality. Oh, I'm not happy. Now I want to return it. I want to get refund. I like to get refund, please. Nasib baik dia ikan juga nak cakap please. Okay. Then you, as the trainee, as the customer service, what would you respond? Oh, Puan, unfortunately, our refund cannot be processed by our system because it's already over expired. After 90 days return window, I'm sorry. Oh, this one, I'm sorry. I can't grant you a refund for merchandise purchase after 90 days. Would you like to speak to the manager? Or the third one, I'm sorry, this item didn't meet your expectation. It's after our 90 days return window. So, but I can issue you a store credit. How does that sound? Okay, agak-agak mana? Agak-agak mana? 1, 2, 3. Mana yang paling sesuai? Cuba tengok dalam chat sekejap. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Yang mana? Mana agaknya paling sesuai? Oh, ada kata tak boleh dengar my voice. Okay, go. Dr. Hani kata nombor 3. Oh, Dr. Hani expert. Dia orang dia apa ni? HR kan? Okay, number 3. Number 1. Okay lah, kita kata Dr. Reza kata number 1. Okay, number 1. Then number 1, unfortunately, the salesperson say, unfortunately, your refund cannot be processed because it's already over 90 days. Then Nora get upset. What? I've never had trouble returning items here before. I want to speak to your manager. They get upset. Continue. Aha, listen, feedback. You missed the mark, meaning that it was inappropriate option. A little positivity goes a long way. So there's an advice to you. Instead of emphasizing what you can't do for your customers, use a positive personal message that focuses on what you can do. That's essential skill number 1 as a customer service person. Okay, then continue. Scenario number 2. Just now Nora, this one Michelle. So we'll continue on the same thing. Yeah, the same thing. Okay, since you're already okay, continue. Again, you missed the mark. Continue. So we go to customer number 3. Scene number 3. Different scenario, different complaint or different needs. Okay, then continue. Oh, you missed the mark again. Then finally, congratulations. Okay, then as a student, I can go back. You see the arrow at the top here? I can go back. Then I can try now a second option. Just now I choose the first option. So maybe if the third option, like Dr. Hani suggested, yeah, okay, that works. I'm sorry, this item didn't meet your expectation. That works. Continue. Nice job. Continue to the second one, and so on and so forth. I hope with second example, you get clearer, even third example, even clearer. Emergency number 4. This one I did last night. This one for kind of medical care kind of situation, medical education, emergency decision, the golden hour. But I think I will skip this one. You can have a look because masa berjalan begitu cepat ya. I want to show you now example of branching scenario. This is even more powerful. Branching scenario. So I have many examples here. And I won't have time to really go through each one of this. The art of negotiation. Do you have these 4 essential customer service skill? 3 techniques for successful upselling. I just want to train salesmen, yeah, to do upselling. Welcome to this another one, passion management demo. So you can click here and see the example, compliance training. Okay, so what's the difference between simple scenario and branching scenario? Let me show you the slides. Yeah, maybe take this one. Structure of scenario. So you have the scenario or challenge or the problem, then it can, if a simple scenario, maybe you have one kind of or two simple option. You have maybe three, but then one outcome simple. These three option will go to maybe finally one outcome finally. Yeah. So you have choices to make, usually two or three, and consequences. For every option, for every choice, there will be consequence. I remember there's a quote here. For every action, there will be a consequence. For every choice, every decision, there will be a consequence. Okay. So that's basically the structure of a scenario. For a branching kind of scenario, you can have the challenge or the problem, then you can have three options, then uh, let's say you take the first option, and this option will branch out to more choices and more options. So this is making even more challenging and more complicated. Okay. um, you can have all the three options branching out, or you can have maybe two of the three options branching out, and some probably will be branching out more, some will be only branching out or at one level, some will be branching out at two levels, and maybe even three levels. So very seldom it goes more than three level, because it will be very complicated and even more difficult to design. Yeah. And for the student, maybe it will make it more, confusing for them. Okay. So like that. So that's the structure of the scenario. A complex scenario, a complex multiple branching scenario can be like this. Can be even more complicated, or maybe look something like yeah, something like this. Yeah. Starting from here, he branch out, then from this branch, it will branch more. Then from this branch, another, this is really very, very sophisticated, very complex branching. And can you imagine how much a student will learn from this kind of scenario, right? And I've given some more example here. Hopefully you can explore. So maybe what we can do now, yeah, in the PowerPoint, there are more explanation on the branching part. Yeah. How from the problem or the challenge it will branch out, and each choice will lead to consequence. This is a simple branching. The more complex one, probably you can have this is the explanation actually. Yeah. So you can have like, the first, then it will branch out some more, and this could continue forever, technically. Yeah. Okay. So it's best to illustrate this with an example. So let's see a very quick one. One example of branching scenario: the art of negotiation. Can you talk your way into higher pay? This one, the worker or the staff is trying to negotiate for higher pay. Okay, so this is a scenario presented here. So let's start. Then ring, ring, ring. You've got a job offer.
Hi there. This is Jane calling from the Smith.
I don't know whether you can hear the audio.
Last week, and I think you'd be a great fit for the gallery assistant position.
Okay, Prof.
Prepared to
Okay.
make you an offer at an annual salary of 40.
So you can, in this case, you present the scenario in the form of a video. Not even a video, is kind of video and audio. And then please listen to the job offer before moving on. Oh, disuruh dengar. Okay. So let's say kita dengar sampai habis. Nampak tak? Bila sampai habis, dah habis, baru kita kalau ujung sampai baru boleh continue. We can design it that way. But to design this, by the way, this particular scenario was designed using an expensive application called Articulate Rise, Articulate Rise or Articulate Storyline. Don't worry, I have the name of the authoring tool or application in my module. So, but this one is expensive lah. I think they sell as a one package, Articulate Studio, and inside that there is a Articulate Storyline and Articulate Rise. I have used Articulate Rise before. It's very easy to use but very powerful, and we can use Articulate Rise to create this kind of scenario. Using other tools not possible. If you use you can use Google Form, but it's kind of it's not designed for that actually. Tapi boleh lah kalau nak buat juga boleh pakai Google Form ya. Some people say boleh guna PowerPoint because you can also link the site. Can, but I have tried it, headache, and not really designed for that. Okay, continue. Then you are based on the audio just now. Then you are presented with the option. Then let's say I click this one, I choose this one, and then submit. Then oh, you got that right. Oh, in this case I just hentam ya. I got that right. And then this is a feedback. Nampak tak? There's always a feedback. Okay, continue. 3 days later, okay, you've done some research. Okay, then what will you do to make he aware of this and to kickstart the negotiation? Ask for more money, ask to negotiate. So let's say I ask for money. I just want to pay rise, right? What are you going to say to Jane? Okay, I want to speak to Jane, my manager. I want to get us 20% pay rise, not 10%, 20%. Wow. Okay, you must be very good, be able to negotiate very well, pitch your ideas or pitch your justification, whatever. Okay, which of the following choice will get Jane to offer you more money? So okay, we don't have time, so I just choose this one, submit. Alamak, okay, you got it wrong. But why? This is tips. So dia tak bagi answer directly, dia bagi tips, bagi hint macam contoh the previous example that I show you. You don't give the direct, you give feedback, but you don't give a direct answer, but you give them the hint, the tips. Okay, so take again. So I go back. Then just now I took the second one or the first one. Okay, like the first one. Okay, you got that right. Tips. It's always good idea to so this a feedback, continue and so on. So basically that's a very quick one. The branching scenario. Kita start tadi 9.30 kan? 9.30, 10.30. Kita habis pukul berapa ya sepatutnya?
12.30 bro.
12.30.
12.30 bro.
Aduh. I thought 11.30. Patutlah I dah jadi I cepat-cepat ni ingat kan habis 11.30. Okey lah.
Ya, you must have.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Kita ada 1 jam lagi. I hope you can bear with me. This is getting more interesting now. Okay. So much to learn, so much to share, so much to show. Okay. I have given you selected example here. This is hand-picked example, yeah. So the rest I will let you all explore. Okay. Because now we are coming to the third hours. My plan, my third hour itulah. I thought my plan tadi dah betul lah. My third hour ni I want to show you a little bit on the how. Dah nampak contoh kan? Okay. Cuma at this point I pause a while. Ada soalan? At this point before kita gerak seterusnya? Tak ada? Tak ada. Betul eh? Any question on the
Chat box looks clear, Prof. So
Okay,
maybe you can proceed.
something that I don't cover in this module, but I cover in the PowerPoint is types of ini. Ya, types of scenario based learning. So ada yang question based seperti ini, Dan saya telah bagi contoh juga di situ. Ada yang exploration based, so this is more like story lah, story. Yang exploration based ni very much like storytelling, with the conversation, with the twist of plot, maybe. This is another example of exploration based. So later on, when you get a PowerPoint, the PowerPoint will be in the PDF. You can just click the link. Tapi I notice mungkin ada satu atau dua link yang telah apa orang kata break lah. Maknanya the website page, the web page already sometimes, already disappear or some, I don't know. Okay. No, not that. An idea. And there's also something called mini scenario. Okay. Mini scenario. More example. Anyway, it's okay. Nanti can go through the slides. Okay. If there's no questions, so basically in this section, in this part, I have shown you some example of scenario-based learning, simple branching, more complex branching, and there are more examples there, but I hope those examples are sufficient to illustrate how the end product, the scenario-based learning looks like as an end product. Because when you create scenario-based, there are two steps. The first step actually to create a storyline, and this is where ChatGPT come in handy. After you have got a storyline with all the conversation, with all the options, the choices, everything complete, now you want to put that into more like the final product, in something like a more visual form, or something where the learner will interact with, just like what you have seen in the example. And you need to use certain tool. Last time this is the problem part. The problem is to find the tool. Most of the application to build, to construct the final product of scenario-based learning are not free. The most well-known one is Articulate storyline, or Articulate Rise. There are also iSpring, for example, but they are all not cheap. Probably 1,000 plus, 2,000 plus you have to invest. Articulate is about $1,000, 1,000 plus dollars, so about 5,000 ringgit. I don't think many, I'm just assuming, but probably even $20 for ChatGPT pun people are thinking 10 times to subscribe kan. What's more with 1,000 plus dollar, almost $2,000. So that's why I'm not going to, I will just put the in the list, but I don't expect people will use that. So I'm going to share with you the free one. So that is where building the scenario. Okay. But before that, let's see the key elements of a scenario. Whether what you are doing now can be described as a scenario or not. These are the things. Okay. Based on the example above, can you identify the main elements of scenario-based learning? So typically, SBL consists of the following elements. Okay, let me click this for a full view. I think I have opened it. Is it? Oh, belum buka lagi. Okay. Ya, I adjust it. So main elements of scenario-based learning. First, you must have the story or the scenario and the context. So scenario, context. All the example that I've shown you just now, all starting with the story or about the background or the scenario or the problem or the challenges. You describe everything there. Then always there are characters, the passion, the customer service people, the customers, the managers. So these are the individual involved, including learner's role. What is the learner's role, the student's role there? As a manager, or as a customer, as a doctor, as a patient, as an engineer, as a whatever, okay? And other participant involved. These are the characters. It must be introduced in the story. Context, scenario context, background information, setting, situational detail. Example number 1 just now illustrate very clearly again. You enter the room, the room, how the room looks like, how the situation, the room is very hectic, emergency room, very chaotic, everything, make it as detailed as possible. Problem or challenge. So you state what is the challenge that you have a patient, the patient has dementia, and so on. Key issue or task that learners must address or solve. So you must communicate with the patient in a proper manner using the communication skill that you have been taught, so that the patient doesn't get upset, things like that. So those are the challenges. Then you have to make a decision. You enter the room. There are 3 or 4 options. What shall you do first? That's you have 3 or 4 choices to make. Okay? Critical moments where learners must make choices or take action. For a simple scenario, maybe only one decision point. You take this option, you get the feedback, then that's it. You can go back and try the second option. You learn something already. For the more complex multiple branching, probably there will be 2 or more. Could be 2, 3, 4 decision point. And all the outcome from each of your decision can be different. Or some of the outcomes, some of the option, the outcome actually probably would kind of merge as one same outcome. There are many ways of designing this multiple branching scenario. Personally, I don't have experience also to creating multiple branching scenario. In fact, I wish I could have done more, because at that time there is no ChatGPT, and there's no easy tool for me. Even at that time, Google Form cannot do branching, but now Google Form can do branching, right? Can do what if things. So boleh lah, kalau tak ada benda lain boleh guna Google Form lah untuk buat macam example that I've shared just now. Then there will be outcome. For every choice, there will be outcome. There will be consequence. Then there will be feedback. Then after that, finally debriefing. Ya. Contoh dalam contoh ada kan tadi kan debriefing kan, you all nampak kan. Let me show you my example yang yang ini. Yang ni tak sempat tak tunjuk tadi kan. Ingatkan masa nak habis dah. Okay. So I just go, okay, attend the man with the chest pain, okay. Then call for immediate backup. Then this is also debriefing for this choice. You can have debriefing for that particular choice, bagi feedback and debriefing for that particular choice, or you can get the debriefing for the whole scenario. So as you can see here, this is the kind of debriefing for that choice that I choose just now. What is the strength of this decision, the strength of this choice, what is the areas, these are reflection, and then learning points. Nampak tak? Detail ni. For that option that the students take, whether it's the right one or the wrong one, the learning points, the feedback, the reflection are there. This one, after the students have completed the whole thing, they can get debriefing for the whole thing, debriefing session, reflecting on prioritization, the decision making, understanding clinical implication, emotional reason, teamwork, communication, lesson learned. So this briefing session aims to solidify your learning experience, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's the meaning of debriefing and feedback. Feedback is one, debriefing is another one. So you can have them, and if you have them in your scenario, outcome and feedback and debriefing and reflection, and you have all these elements in your scenario, that's basically a scenario-based learning. So at this point, if you have done problem-based case study and so on, maybe by now you can understand more how they are different. Dr. Ain, are you still there, Dr. Ain? Dr. Ainul?
Saya ada.
So
Ada,
at this
Prof.
point macam mana? Macam mana you rasa perbezaan antara case study dengan scenario based learning?
Apa yang saya rasa saya buat tu, Prof, actually is scenario. Sebab
Okay.
first of all, untuk kelas saya, mereka kena faham a few philosophies. What's the difference between utilitarian lah, realism and whatnot. So,
Okay.
mereka kena tengok from different point of view. So, that would be a scenario, satu scenario tetapi from different point of view, and how do they have to make decision based on where they stand in the sense of kalau dalam the company, so how do they actually choose the scenario? Is it based on the situation or is it for the long term? So saya kata it's more on the scenario. Cuma saya kena tukar daripada bubuh tajuk sebagai what you call this
Case study.
case study kepada senario atau scene.
SIM,
Macam tadi Prof
self-instructional.
dia pun buat scene 1, scene 2 kan.
Oh, scene. Okay.
Ah, ah.
Do you have all the elements? These elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in your case study?
Ada.
Ada?
Sebab untuk macam basically on ethics and decision making ni, dia tak ada jawapan konkret macam this is right, this is wrong. Tetapi dia ada jawapan yang this is much better than the other.
How many decision point?
So it based on either you're looking at the situation itself for a very short term, atau you're looking is what is right, what is wrong. But what is the implication back on your company? So basically dia memang macam itulah, dia kena buat reflection from different point of view, and then dia ada memang ada feedback. Cuma sebab dalam business ethics dia tak ada jawapan macam this is the correct 100% answer. Dia ada answer yang macam okay, this is answer, tetapi maybe this decision is much better than the other. Macam tu.
So from what you have described, I think I would say that what you are doing have the elements of scenario based, but it can be categorized as a simple scenario based, because I think in your case you have only one decision point, right? Because
Depend on the situation.
Depend on the situation.
Dia ada short decision, basically,
Mhm.
kalau you are a person yang more towards the utilitarian, so maybe you are looking for the best decision for the greater goods, for many people lah. Tapi kalau you are from the view yang you hold on the Kantian, so maybe you're looking only this is right, this is wrong. So maybe your decision is based on the law, the moral and whatnot. So there are different things, but in your business situation, and then what do you need to do? You cannot be like all the time being a utilitarian. You cannot be all the time looking into the can. You cannot just be a deontology. So these are the situations that they need to know where do they play the role and what are the decisions they have to make so that the impact for the company dijaga, tapi impact for the employees dijaga dan juga for the society dijaga.
Okay, let me anyway, have you designed your scenario based like what the example that I've shown you just now? Have you designed it
Yang
in
depan
that form?
tadi tu ya, yang depan tu ada. So
Yeah.
basically yang Prof bagi kan jawapan A, B, C, D. So what do you choose? Yes. So yang itu yang it comes from what are their point of view. If they are only looking from the point of view of utilitarian, so maybe their answer will be very specific to one thing. So memang ada lah. So
Okay.
memang we will go through back kalau dia jawab macam ni, so maybe this is the feedback yang dia akan dapat. Kalau dia orang jawab macam ni, this is the feedback yang dia orang dapat dan sebagainya.
Okay. Let me show you one example yang I buat. Yang ini this scenario, this actually multi-level branching scenario using customized GPT in ChatGPT Plus, and this customized GPT is called Simulator GPT. You can have access for free if you have ChatGPT Plus. So ChatGPT Plus not free, of course, but once you have ChatGPT Plus, you have access to this simulator GPT. Or actually the name of GPT, not simulator GPT, is scenario simulator. Okay, anyway, what this can do, it can generate a scenario, it can create a branching option, it can basically create you the storyline, and then you can put together in another application to create the final product. Okay. And by the way, this is the picture that you see here again, I created using Midjourney to illustrate the scenario. The scenario is about, okay, there's a house or building on fire. Then the firemen come. And this is the prompt. The prompt that I put in this scenario simulator. I'm going to show you shortly. Actually, I'm not ready yet to show this, but just to give you a more understanding of whether you can describe your whatever that you are doing now as a scenario. If it is, then is it a simple scenario or is it a complex multiple branching scenario? What I'm going to share with you now is an example of multi-level branching scenario. Okay. Now, there's a prompt, create a branch scenario about actions to be taken when putting out a fire. This scenario will be used to train new firemen. Provide 3 options and 3 levels of decision making. You can try to take this prompt and put in your free ChatGPT, but you won't get the same results like what I get the same prompt using this GPT scenario simulator. You won't get. Okay. Same prompt, but you put in Gemini or apa, you won't get the same nih. Okay, this is the branch scenario. Okay, putting out a fire. This is a scenario created with Midjourney. Context. Remember, you must have context, kan? A team of new firefighters has arrived at the scene of a residential fire. So you must describe the setting, the situation. How is it like? The fire is concentrated in the kitchen. This information is needed for you, the learner, so that you can make an assessment of the situation. With visible flames and smoke, there's a reason here. If you're training to become a firefighter, there's a difference between visible flame and smoke that will give you a clue or information, the course of action that you need to take. The team must quickly assess the situation. You don't have time. The building is burning. The building is collapsing and there are people inside. And decide on the best course of action to control and extinguish the fire while ensuring the safety of all occupants and team members. Level 1. So what you see down here, everything that you see here was generated by ChatGPT using the customized GPT just now. So the three decision making point, 3 level of decision making. Level 1, making an initial investment. So there are 3 branches there, 3 options, A, B, C. Level 2, direct engagement. Level 2A. Sorry, this is not level 2. This is level 2A. Yeah. If you take option A, you will go to level 2A, direct engagement. Then you have 3 more options. Then you have to make 3 options. Then you go to level 2B, 2C. Okay. Then all this. I just go through very quickly because I just wanted to show you when we put together all these structure, the branch and the options and then the consequence, how it looks like in the form of flowchart. So let's see. Wow. This is how it looks like. I zoom out. This is a scenario. Zoom out. Scenario, putting out a fire, a team of new firefighters, everything taken from just now. Okay. Then upon arrival, the team leader conducts a quick assessment and the fire scenes. Then there are 3 options given here. Option A, enter the house immediately to fight the fire. Option B, conduct a quick perimeter check. Option C, call for backup immediately before making any move and so on. Let's say I take option A. When I take option A, which is enter the house, okay, the team decide to enter the house immediately to combat the fire. This option A leads to 3 options. Option A1, option A2, option A3. Pada. So this is decision point number 1. This is decision point number 2. Which option should I take now? Let's say I take A1. If I take A1, this is the consequence. If I take A2, this is the consequence. If I take A3, this is the consequence. And I can carry on. What happens if I take option B? Option B is conduct a quick perimeter check to assess the fire spread. If I take option B, after conducting a perimeter check, the team has better understanding of the fire scope and confirms there are no occupants inside. Then option B lead to 3 more options. Option B1, option B2, option B3. If I take option B1, this is the outcome. If I take option B2, this is the outcome. If I take option B3, this is the outcome. Now, if I take option C from here, backup, call for backup. So call for backup, then these are the 3 options, C1, C2, C3. If I take C1, it will lead to this consequence, C2, and so on. Nampak tak? Can you see how complicated this multiple branching can be? But this is how, if you want to engage students and let them crack their head, that's why it's about cognitive engagement. This is easily C4, C3, C4. Yeah, and C5, evaluate. Maybe there is no C6 here, but this could be C3, C4, C5. Setuju tak setuju? Cuba letak dalam chat, agree or what do you think? What do you think of this multiple branching? Share your thoughts here. Okay, there's a question I noticed in the chat from Amiro. Do we have any tools in ChatGPT Plus to use to create the storyline. I think I've given the answer just now, which is one of them is the one that I have used is called scenario simulator. Maybe at this point I can straight go to, yeah, it's because it's already close to 12. I can go to the
Prof, saya boleh bagi feedback yang tadi tu, Prof, kalau boleh.
silakan. Okay. Good. Silakan.
Yang tadi Prof tunjuk semua yang besar tu kan. Jadi to me kan, this is another way to teach student to understand A to Z, tetapi daripada cara yang berbeza. Because kita ada, dia pecahkan daripada kita baca buku, kita tahu, oh kalau guna ini apa, itu guna ini jadi apa. So this is another way to make it more interesting lah in the teaching orang kata arena lah.
Yeah, that's my intention pun. Since now you nampak kan. Tapi then you garuk kepala, alamak, macam mana nak design ni? So there's a question.
Betul, yang design tu yang susah sikit lah. nak
So now
dissect semua dan make it very simple.
now we are coming to this, building the scenario. Okay, everyone, please pay attention here. When you want to build a scenario, always remember this, there are 2 stages, 2 steps. Satu, develop the storyline. Ya, tadi storyline tadi macam ni lah. Ni kan nampak contoh tadi kan, yang if I go back to the, yalah, semualah ada story dia kan. Okay. To develop the storyline will have scenario, option, branching, feedback. That's the storyline. So to do this, now we have ChatGPT to help us, even Gemini. Tapi I don't want to talk about Gemini. I want to talk about ChatGPT Plus here. Once we have the story, the next thing to do is now to build that story, construct that story in the final form. In the final form, just like the example that I've shared with you just now. To construct the story, we need to use application like Google Form, articulate storyline, articulate Rise, iSpring, dan sebagainya. Okay. So construct the story for learner deployment. That's the final one that the student will see and interact with. 2 stages here. The difficult part, actually both are actually, I think the most difficult part is actually to develop a storyline. If we have the tool, then constructing it, okay lah, not so pening kepala sangat lah. Okay, let's develop the storyline. Ada soalan tadi, what can we use ChatGPT Plus? What's the tool in the ChatGPT Plus? Mana tadi soalan dia? Do we have any tool in ChatGPT Plus to use for storyline? Okay. Okay, I want to introduce to you now the tool that I create. I have 2 tools. This one called Simple Scenario Based Learning by Abdul Karim alias your truthfully yours. Okay, so bila you go to ChatGPT, where is my ChatGPT? Wow, Webex ni menghalang apa tu? Tepat turunkan sikit. Ni boleh tutup. Okay, mind map ni boleh tutup. Okay, this is my ChatGPT Plus. If you have ChatGPT Plus, then you have access to the GPT. This is customized GPT. Okay, then this is a GPT store. Okay, and if you like any GPT, you find the GPT is useful, then you can save it on the left hand side. As you can see, I have 55 GPT here. Again, for those who are just join, or if you don't know what's GPT, this is customized GPT. It is ChatGPT to perform certain tasks, very specific, very dedicated. Okay, So there's a GPT to create image, for example, yeah, like DALI. So all these are actually specialized in making images, and they do it very well. Okay, they are GPT for writing, write for me, text to video, and they are they customize just to do that, specialized, expert. So when you put a prompt, compared to you put the prompt in normal chat GPT, the answer, the response would be much better by using the dedicated, specialized, customized GPT. All right. For this one, I have created this one to create simple scenario-based learning. So when you go to GPT store, you can click from here because I've given you the link. But if you go to GPT store, you can just search simple scenario. Hopefully it appears base. Tengok keluar tak? Okay. Simple scenario based. Ada? I start again. Explore GPT. When you go to Explore GPT, you type in the search here, simple scenario, scenario. Okay dah. Keluar. Yeah. Simple scenario based learning by Abdul Karim alias, free of charge. Okay. Then click start chat. Then here there are starter prompt here. Create a simple scenario based learning from this. Create simple, or you can create your own prompt. Okay, let's say we create this one. Create simple scenario based learning. Then it will ask you, could you please provide a specific topic or skill area you would like the scenario based learning activity to focus on. Mungkin Dr. Ain boleh bagi contoh tak? Nak buat apa? Senario apa?
Saya selalu bagi senario yang paling senang untuk diorang faham. First of all, kalau orang mencuri. Lepas tu saya akan tambah-tambah lah. Macam kalau dia tu budak mencuri sebab dia lapar. Lepas tu saya tambah lagi dan sebagainya. Sebab to make them understand from different point of views.
So
But then yang tu is just the general scenario.
Okay.
Lepas tu baru saya buat pula yang relate kepada company punya. You know,
Okay.
if ada any
Bagi.
orang kata apa, white collar crime for companies
Okay.
and whatnot.
Okay, kalau kita ada idea yang apa ni, kita kata white collar crime. Selok-eloknya kita bagi lebih spesifik lah. Kita bagi spesifik senario apa yang kita nak secara am, then the learning outcome of that scenario. Okay, let's say white collar crimes in corporation.
Operation.
Corporation betul ya? Corporation, kita apalah.
Betul?
Okay, ini dia punya title. Kemudian kalau boleh kalau kita sebaik-baiknya ya, bagi learning outcome supaya kita dapat senario yang lebih baik, yang macam mana yang kita nak lah. Learning outcomes apa dia, explain the forensic accounting techniques to detect misappropriation, detect funding, apa ni dia, funding, boleh lah, funding misappropriation. Okay, something like that. Okay, the idea here, you must give the title of the scenario and at least some basic description of the scenario. Who are the target audience? Okay, target audience, undergraduate in Bachelor of Accounting. Okay, target audience ada, so give as much information as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
So kalau target
Yeah.
audience ada 2, Bachelor Accounting and Management, saya kena pecahkan lah.
Ya, kita boleh,
Betul.
kita
Okay.
boleh apa ni, kita nak masukkan sekali boleh, kita nak pecahkan separately as a separate scenario pun boleh. So I'm just giving very quick one, how you can use in this case this particular GPT, simple scenario based learning. Put in the information there, then okay, let's see, then it will do the work, the hard work, the heavy lifting. Okay. Dalam notice tak, dalam prompt ni kita tak cakap pun kita nak create a scenario based learning, blah blah blah. Automatically that, sebab this GPT is designed to create scenario based learning, so it's already know. You just put in the information and it will create the options, the choices, and so on. Apa tak? Yeah. So scenario. So this yeah.
Saya just nak tanya, dia punya content tu maksudnya boleh reliable ke? Maksud saya macam betul ke senario tu, atau kita kena semak, maksudnya macam ni, making sense ke tak lah maksud saya. Sebab kadang-kadang tu bila pakai kan, saya rasa macam tak pernah sabar sikit dia punya senario tu lah.
Soalan yang baik, Dr. Sakinah. Okay, soalan yang baik. Betul ke? Accurate ke? Boleh percaya ke? Reliable ke? Credible ke? Of course, itulah peranan kita pula sebagai subject matter expert. Janganlah kita ambil tulis biji. Kan? Kalau macam saya tak tahu hal apa pasal accounting ni, saya ambil sebiji lah. Buat contoh. Kan? Tapi kalau kita lah memang subject matter expert, we have to evaluate lah. Tengok, oh okay. Dr. Ain, tanya pakar Dr. Ain. Make sense tak senario ni?
So 4K je.
Yeah, you are an intern in the
okay.
forensic accounting department of a large corporation. You tu siapa? Kita lah, learner, student ya. Recently, you noticed discrepancies between reported expenses and actual spending in one of the company's major project. Your supervisor asked you to investigate further to determine if these are simple errors or signs of funding misappropriation. Option 1.
Memang berlaku pun. Memang berlaku.
Okay, good. Option 1 itu dia. Conduct ni. Nanti bila kita dah design nanti, the student choose option 1, apa feedback dia dapat? Ataupun apa outcome dia dapat dan apa feedback kita akan bagi. Okay, outcome-nya ini dia. Kalau dia pilih option 2, ini dia outcome dia. Dan ini hint. Yang option 1 tadi tu nampaknya okey lah. Tapi kalau dia pilih option 2, kurang tepat, jadi kita bagi dia hint. Kita bagi dia hint. Kalau dia pilih option 3, ada 3 option. Apa dia punya outcome? Itu pun tak appropriate, dia punya option ni, choice dia tak begitu tepat, dan kita bagi dia hint dia. Supaya bila dia dapat hint tu, hopefully dia akan go to option 1 lah, hint yang option yang lebih tepat. Dan apa outcome yang akan capai, dan lepas tu kita bagi, ada option 4 lagi. Boy, 4 option. Ini tak complete lagi ni. Kadang-kadang dia stop halfway kan, continue. Boy, bagi option 5 pula. Baru dia bagi debriefing. Ini sampai 5 option. Tapi kita tengoklah kalau dia bagi 5 option, then kita kata okay, repeat this, give me only 3 option. Okay. Kemudian ini dia punya debriefing dia. Okay. So kalau debriefing dia terlalu ringkas, kita katalah okay, please expand on the debriefing. Okay. Saya lupa nak sebut tadi, first time bila you gunakan GPT tu, you tanya soalan dulu. What can you do? Kita tanya GPT ni apa yang dibuat sebenarnya. Sebab dalam description tadi mungkin ringkas je kan. What can you do? Tanya dia boleh buat apa untuk kita. So dia akan terangkanlah, I can create simple scenario based learning activities. Ni. So kemudian baru kita start dengan kita punya interaction dengan dia lah. Okay, so let's see whether we have a specific example that we can create using the following example was created. Ini contoh yang ni yang I buat ni actually was created using my GPT yang I buat ni lah. Okay, simple scenario based learning. Okay, now let's look at this example tadi yang ini. Branching scenario. This one more complex kan. Bila kita klik tadi ni, nampak tak dia punya scenario yang dibuat tadi? Ya. Daripada sini sampailah tu. Berapa panjang tu? Okay. Okay, let's try. Let's give it a try. Ini dia punya prompt. Okay, create a branch scenario. Copy. Kemudian kita gunakan toolsnya adalah scenario simulator. Nanti you all klik aja, dia akan buka ChatGPT ataupun kalau nak search dalam store macam tadi yang saya tunjukkan lah. Okay. Kemudian kalau kita nak savekan di sebelah sini, semua orang tahu kan nak savekan macam mana? Nanti okay, let's say I show this one. I put the prompt here. Again, ask the question, what can you do? Tanya dia apa yang dia buat. Scenario simulator ni. Oh, I am designed to simulate conversation based on given scenario, creating realistic and engaging dialogues. You can provide me with a scenario and I'll generate a conversation that fits the context and characters involved. For example, you can give me a situation where two people are discussing a project at work, planning surprise party, debate, apa semua. Okay. Dia kata kita bagi senario dan dia boleh buat conversation, tapi boleh ke dia buat sendiri? Kita tanya dia, can you create a scenario? Sure, I can. Dia kata kan. Oh, yang ni dia buat apa ni fake kind of dia bagi kita satu senario lah untuk kita apa ni orang tu cuba kan, tapi kita this one we don't want this scenario. Stop. Okay, now we have the prompt, so we paste the prompt here. Create a branch scenario. So we tell this GPT untuk create branch scenario about action to be taken when putting out a fire. So this scenario will be used to train siapa dia punya audience, fireman, untuk training. Provide 3 options. Now I specify I want 3 options. I don't want 2, I don't want 5, I don't want 6. For each option, for each choice, there will be 3 levels of decision making. Okay? Simple aja promptnya. Tengok apa hasilnya. Level 1, initial assessment and approach. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Level 1 ada 3 option. Level 1 is the first decision point. Level 2 is a second decision point. The level 3 is a third decision point. Each decision point ada 3 option. Setiap option pula mungkin ada another level. Sebab I nak 3 level, saya katakan. So we have level 1, 3 option. Level 2, 3 option. Level 3, 3 option. Direct attack, indirect attack, defensive strategy. This option provides a structured approach for training new fighters, allowing them to understand the complexity and critical nature of decision making in fire response scenario. If you want to make the scenario to go another level, all you need to do is tell this GPT create another level, or in bracket decision point. Tapi dia faham lah tu ya. Tak payah letak itu pun dia faham lah. Create another level. Yang ni level kita nak 3 level. Kita nak 3 level tapi kita nak daripada setiap option tadi macam ni. Kalau dia ambil option 1, dia akan branch out to another 3 levels. Okay. So actually I give a wrong instruction lah. What I want here, level 1, option 1, option 2, option 3, then level 2. So for option 1, kalau the learner choose option 1, kalau dalam simple scenario, it will lead to the consequence and feedback. That's it, stop. Then dia boleh repeat nak tengok what happen if they take option 2 and so on. That's simple scenario and that's probably to start with good enough. Itu pun actually banyak student akan dapat, you know. But if you want to make it more complex, then you can tell ChatGPT, ChatGPT or this particular GPT, for each option at each level, I want another kind of a branching out from there lah. So we can say that create for each option, at each level, create the branching options. Macam tu ya. Then certainly dia sentiasa akan obey lah. Kita nak macam mana cakap aja. Okay. So once you have all this, you put together, then if you want to visualize how it looks like, okay, cepat sikit. Okay. Then sebab kita bagi dua kali instruction tadi kan. So dia dah pecah dia punya respon tadi tu. So it's good for kita tell ChatGPT, please, tak payah cakap please pun tak apa. Please put together the whole or the entire scenario. Piece them together, put them together. So here's a complete and detailed scenario. Okay, level 1, the branch, the options, level 2, level 3. Tadi kita buat ada level 4 kan? Dan kita nak 3 level tapi tak apalah. Okay. Okay, tak apalah, kita ambil dulu yang ni. Copy semua. Sampai sini. Kita masuk dalam okay. If you are in dalam ChatGPT Plus ya, you can call up another GPT. In this case, whimsical yang ni, whimsical diagram. I have saved it in my ChatGPT, so I can call up anytime. So now I can call up. Nak call up GPT macam mana? Nak call dia. Kita gunakan this apa dipanggil ni? Add. Then you type the name. Tak payah type lagi, dia dah keluar because yang ini the recent one I gunakan kan, dia keluar. Otherwise you type dia punya first few words, first few letters, you spell out lah. You spell out. Sometimes you spell out the first 3 letters pun dia dah keluar dah kan. So in this case dia dah dia keluar because I have used it recently. So this one, I want this one. I want to call up this one, whimsical diagram. So all I need to do now, I can say okay, create a mind map. Create a mind map. Dia tahulah the mind map of what? The mind map yang the mind map of the scenario just now. Atau create mind map of the scenario. Okay. because we want to visualize first. We want to visualize, then after that, only we can build the scenario now in Google Form or in Articulate Rise or whatever. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. Belum siap. Tengah tu. Tengah pening kepala buat. Here is the mind map illustrating the firefighter training scenario, detailing. Tu dia, ya. Okay. So, klik ni, view or edit this diagram in Whimsical. So, klik free ni ya. Free, Whimsical ni free. Tapi nak gunakan tu, kalau macam yang saya gunakan, kena ada chat GPT plus itulah $20 tu, itulah nilainya. Nampak tak? Okay, level 1, level 2. Pancing lagi. Bestnya. Best ke tak best? Cuba tunjuk sikit dalam chat tu. Or reaction. Kalau best macam tu, tak best macam ni. Okay. Good. Ada soalan. Could you please repeat the steps to talk to the Whimsical again? Okay. Yang nilai kan, macam mana nak talk to Whimsical? Okay, I repeat ya. Okay, I've created I have asked ChatGPT to come up with a storyline, which is the scenario. Then, when you have apa orang kata branching scenario, it can be quite messy, quite complicated. So you want to get a summary in the form of mind map. So what you can do, provided you have ChatGPT Plus, first you find in the Google GPT store, Explore GPT ni, you find Whimsical. Okay, you find Whimsical, that's the one. You click start chat, then you start using it. Just click anything here, start using it. Then when you are using it, check on the left hand side, where is the thing. Actually this one lah, otherwise you will see at the bottom, at the end here. Then when you see the thing on the left hand side, highlight it, then there's a 3 dots, then you get the menu. In my case, hide from sidebar, because I have saved it. If you save it for the first time, it will say pin on sidebar. So you click pin on the sidebar and it will be there on the left hand side permanently. Once you have it in here, you can call up anytime. So for example, let's say, where is it just now? Doctor treating, bukan. Simple scenario. No. Tak apalah. Mana tadi ya? It's okay. So let's say you are doing something, then you want to call up any GPT. All you need to do is in the chat, in the box here, you type add, then type the name of the GPT. Let's say Whimsical. I repeat. Type add. Then this thing keluar, appear, because this one the recent GPT that I use. Otherwise you can type and you should dia dah keluar sebab dia dah keluar tadi kodnya. Tapi you will see Whimsical there, then you choose that. Now you can have a conversation with Whimsical to create a diagram or whatever. Once you are done, once you are finished with that GPT, you can close. Then you are back in this page, on this page, whatever you do. Faham ya? Okay tak? So, okay, thank you. Got it ya? All right. So I think you got the idea. There's another GPT I have created only yesterday to create multiple branching. If you can try later on, you can try this GPT just now, which is this one is very good actually, ya. Untuk buat multiple branching scenario, which is now what's the name? Scenario simulator. I have created a new one yesterday. I have created several GPT actually. Nanti bila GPT Store dah commercialize kan GPT ni, bolehlah jual kot kalau ada orang nak beli kan. Orang pencen ni dia nak cari peluang buat duit je. Okay. This one. This one I have published, I just published yesterday. Scenario based learning builder. Let me give you the link. Okay. Scenario based learning builder. Copy link. Then I will put in the chat. Scenario based learning builder GPT. So that's the link. You can click now. Then try lah. When you come to the page, explain what the GPT can do or help me to create simple scenario based learning. Okay, let's do that. Then save it on your channel. Not save tadi. You find it should be first time when you are using it, it should be at the end here. At the end here, then you find it, then click the three dots, and okay. So let's create. Sure, help me create a simple scenario based learning or branch, whatever. Okay, sure. Give me the information first. Target audience apa? Apa learning outcome? Apa context and challenges-nya? Apa emotion and motivation yang you nak? Branching level berapa? Nak 2? Nak 3? Nak 10? Janganlah. Don't go more than 3 lah. Okay? 1 is simple one lah. 2, good. 3, student okay lagi lah. Tapi really you go into testing them a lot of things there. So 3 is to me optimum lah. Okay? 2 or 3 is optimum. Okay? Then you can try. Okay? So by using this GPT, they can create you can create a storyline easily. Okay? So once you have created a storyline, the next thing is actually to build. Then this is where you can find here. Let me close this part first. Finally, authoring tools for building the scenario. Articulate rise, articulate storyline. This is part of Articulate Studio. This is the best. This is the best. Why? Because very powerful and yet simple, easy. The learning curve is not much, very easy to use. And the interface, the visual interface is also very good. So pricing. Itulah dia. 1,400 USD. Tukar duit Malaysia dengan ringgit kita yang dalam keadaan sekarang ni. Buy now. Minta maaf lah kan. Okay, tak apa. Elucidate. Ini pun bagus. Ya. iSpring Suite. Cheaper than Articulate. Tapi still expensive. Adobe Captivate. I'm not sure kita di USM ada. Last time I check. Kita ada Adobe Photoshop, Adobe segala macam. I remember asking Simon, boleh tak kita masukkan Adobe Captivate? Tapi tak dapat. So, ini pun kena buat separate purchase lah kan. Yang free, you can try Genially. Ya, you can try Genially. Dia boleh buat simple scenario lah. Okay, dia boleh buat branching. Belajar ni, Genially. Generally kita kat USM ada siapa? Puan apa tu? Di kampus Kelantan siapa? Kawan Dr. Diana. Kawan Dr. Intan Diana. Puan apa?
Nazira.
Ha?
Puan Nazira.
Tu Puan Nazira kan cakap tu?
Tak, saya Hazwani.
Oh, bunyi suara macam Puan Hazira. So, Puan Nazira dah buat berapa kali dah kan, January kan. Boleh tengoklah video rakaman dia di YouTube channel CDAE. So, you can try January untuk buat simple scenario punya ni. Free. Okay. USM kita guna Moodle. Dan kita ada HP5 kan? H5P. Siapa ada sini? Etun, Wani? Can you confirm kita ada H5P ni?
Betul Prof, ada H5P.
Wani
Betul.
Kita ada H5P. H5P ni saya tak pernah pakai. Honestly. I don't want to pretend that I've used H5P. But my friend dekat IMU, Hasnain. Hasnain, are you here, Hasnain? Or maybe you're on YouTube. Sorry. Because yeah, Hasnain told me that at IMU, IMU is medical program kan, banyak kan? They use H5P to create scenario based learning. So since we have H5P dalam Moodle kita, why not dalam kita punya e-learn? Saya tak explore lagi, jadi siapa yang rajin explore tu explore lah, tengok macam mana boleh gunakan H5P untuk buat scenario based learning. Sebab dia free, dah ada pun masuk dalam sebagai plug-in dalam kita punya Moodle. Ya. Twine satu lagi yang percuma. Tapi Twine ni dia ada sedikit coding lah, tapi coding dia simple lah. Saya tengok kan, saya rasa, tapi saya pun belum belajar lagi. Tapi yang saya suka adalah Inker Writer. Inker Writer ni, tapi unfortunately we don't have time I don't have time to show you how to create, but I have shown the example just now. The example here was created using Inker Writer. This one, yeah. This one dengan this one. Nanti you boleh tengok how it looks like. So this one was using, I use Inker Writer. Okay, I use Inker Writer. So this Inker Writer is free. Inker Writer, okay, free. Sign up. Watch the tutorial. This is how the back end, the edit mode looks like. This is where you define the branching, everything. Yeah. There are not many good tutorial on YouTube. I'm trying to find time to create a tutorial, but if you find some good, okay, what I will do, I will find maybe one or two good video or the tutorial, and I will link up here. I'll try to find time later this afternoon or tonight or tomorrow. I will find some good tutorial, or at least one for each one of these. Yeah, okay. I terlupa nak. But inshallah, remember this module is a living module. I will update it from time to time. So I will add at least one or two tutorial for each one of these. So I can save your time. I know you are all very extremely busy. I'm a pensioner, so I'm not as busy as you. So I will try to do that. Okay. So Inker Writer, and I hope after this session, give it a try. Okay. Try to create a simple scenario, and you can try to create using Google Form, just like this example. This one I use Google Form. Yeah. If you feel that you need a separate session just to show step by step how to create the scenario and build them using some of these tools, then we need to have another session. Just zoom in, terus create the storyline, then build the scenario. Let me know if you need that. Then maybe CDAE can invite me again. Okay. I have informed CDAE, if you don't have budget, I can do it for free. Okay, only for USM. Only for USM. Otherwise, you have to pay me 1,000 ringgit per hour. But I'm serious. Okay, I'm serious. I can do it for free for USM. I owe USM. Dulu, kini, dan selamanya. So I'm paying back and until my last breath. Okay. So with that, I think finally the resources here. So all this picture that you see on this module was created using ChatGPT. Okay, plus that $20. Okay, resources. I just want to highlight. Well, we're already to 12:35. Two experts, recognized expert in scenario-based learning. Go to this website, especially Christy Tucker. When you go to the website, there are so much. I think I have not explored everything on this website yet. This website specialized on scenario-based learning. This is the lady, expert in scenario-based learning. She specialized in that. Okay. There is no book on scenario-based learning. There is no good book. In fact, there's no book on scenario-based learning. So, but there's a lot of information from the internet, especially from this website. And another one is from Katie Moore. She has a website called Action Work. This is actually her consultancy work lah, but she provides a lot of free stuff as well. For example, scenario design toolkit. So I'm directing you or pointing you towards, to this very useful resources here, because I have personally used this for my own learning, and I'm still learning. Okay, and I'm sharing with you what I've learned in this module. Overview, creating branching scenario, articulate rise, some example, tutorial, YouTube videos, selected YouTube videos, and I will add more. Selected one, a good one. Okay, so this will save you a lot of time. All right. So I'll give you now the link for the PowerPoint, 113 slides, and this module. Sorry, this one. Okay. Let me copy the link. And Wani or Sarah, please share the link to YouTube. Okay. Okay, there's a link. So please share on YouTube. And you can share the module and also the PowerPoint with your friends, with your colleagues. Share far and wide. Use that term always. Share, please share far and wide, because my intention is to spread the knowledge to as many people as possible. And inshallah, when you share with others, inshallah you will get also ganjaran pahala di situlah, inshallah. So with that, I'd like to thank, and my apologies for exceeding the time. Maybe now I can answer some question. You can unmute the microphone. You can let me see whether the chat, there's a question there. So I will stop sharing now. Stop. Okay. Okay, macam mana? Aizat. Saudara Aizat kita. So back to Sarah. Okay. Sarah, kita boleh buka Q&A kot kan?
Prof. Yes, boleh Prof. Silakan.
So Aizat macam mana? Boleh gunakan dalam your task tak? I can see also Dr. Chow here. Hello Dr. Chow. Very pleased to see you here. How? Dr. Chow pernah guna scenario based learning?
Ada guna supaya the student capture the scenario.
So what's your thoughts? Should we encourage people to use scenario based learning?
Yeah. We try to contextualize the topics that we teach. So give a scenario, then I think they will be more understand. So easier. Yeah. Yes. Good. Memang encourage.
I nak tanya Dr. Ang Min Hui. Dr. Ang, you're from mathematics kan, Dr. Ang? Professor Ang?
Yeah. Sorry. Hi. Hi.
So
Hi, Ralph. Mm-hmm.
you have seen I don't know whether you joined from the beginning.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now I hope you've got some idea of what scenario-based learning. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you think you can use scenario-based learning dalam mathematics teaching?
Actually, I'm from Pure Max. Actually,
Mm,
we have a problem of making student to feel interested for the pure.
mm,
I think
mm,
today what we can do is we can start by how to say, like, for example, if we want to talk about normal subgroup, okay,
mm,
and we can create a scenario of why it is needed. So we start from something that we want to actually it start from we want to define a quotient structure, and
mm,
then the binary operation must be well defined. So instead of telling them, okay,
mm.
we create some like a scenario thing for them to discover themselves.
Ah, okay. That's what something I have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You give them because mathematics are actually part and parcel of our daily life, right?
But
So if
for
you,
our
yeah,
pure one, prof, it's not. It's just, because I'm from very pure mathematics,
uh-huh.
so it's not connect to the daily life. But at least
Mm,
we give them the scenario, give them a
mm,
a direction
mm,
of the thing, rather than if you just keep on telling them, the
yeah,
student can't get it. That's the why where they will get lost,
yeah.
fall back behind.
Yeah, I would love to see, especially for mathematics, especially pure mathematics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Physics, for example. But physics actually there's an applied part, applied physics, right? If you want to teach a very tough topic like quantum, in engineering like thermodynamic, if you want to teach the first law, the second law of thermodynamic, it's so dry, so orang kata
Yes.
apa? So as a subject matter expert, kalau kita betul-betul expert dalam subjek tu, I'm sure kita boleh cari senario di mana okay, thermodynamic. Okay, why not I talk about steam engine, okay? Ataupun turbine, steam turbine to generate the power. So I create scenario, and from there actually that's how I learned thermodynamic when I did my masters. In first degree when I learned thermodynamic in apa ni in kita punya course apa tu, and juga dalam physical chemistry ada some thermodynamic kan. I didn't I couldn't appreciate it. But when I went to do my masters in food process engineering, the lecturer that taught the subject, he taught the advanced thermodynamic, but he actually all the classes actually we work on the real problem. So he worked backward. So I think the same thing we can do here. Uh, yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
can do problem based, of course, but we can also create a scenario based where we create a story and so on. And from there, the students would have to figure out, and finally they will learn along the way. They will learn the concept, they will learn the law, they will learn whatever the principles, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Will anyone here from different discipline would like to share? How do you see? I can see Ali here. Yeah, Ali, how are you? Ali and Hani together in this session. Alhamdulillah.
Prof, thank you so much.
Yeah, Ali, how do you see you can apply? You're from you're what? You doing human resource or what?
Technology management. By the way, the issue we have to create the material using ChatGPT or any AI is the student use the same technology to answer the scenario. So how to avoid that?
You asking question?
Yeah.
Can you repeat again?
We use ChatGPT or AI to create scenario or to create the teaching materials, right? And the student use the same technology to answer us.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, of course we create a scenario using ChatGPT, and then because we let the students to do it on their own, right? It's more for self-learning. But yeah, of course, I don't think we can stop them. In fact, we can actually we encourage them. Uh, we don't dictate the process. I think we don't dictate, we don't control. We give them the exercise that they need, the assessment, the learning activities in the form problem based, scenario based, and so on. our intention is clear. We want them to learn something from that, right? But we don't dictate, we don't control, we don't tell them, don't do this, don't do that, don't use this, don't use that. Whatever that they use, the tools that they use, even ChatGPT and so on, by using that, they will still learn something, right? They will learn something to solve the problem, to choose the right option. If they want to, they can use it. Why not? But whatever it is, they will learn. They will learn something. So to me, it's not an issue, lah, Ali, because you cannot stop them, right? You cannot stop
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah. So don't worry, lah. Don't worry about students using this to do all the
Yeah.
exercise that we give them. I think we just waste our energy and time to think about that.
Yeah.
What we
Cannot
should focus
control.
on is to use all these tools at our disposal to create things like scenario-based multiple branching and then so on. And then we give that opportunity to students. If they want to use ChatGPT, by all means. If they are the kind of student who like to crack their head, they will try first. Then only they use ChatGPT. So empower the students. Empower them. When you empower them, you trust them. But of course, with empowerment, we trust, but it comes also with accountability. Teach them about empowerment. Teach them about trust. And teach them about accountability. It's our responsibility to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again,
Thank you so much.
thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Prof.
Anything else? Maybe Hani, you want to say something, Hani? Dr. Hani, sorry.
Hello, Prof. So
Hi,
far,
hello.
so good, Prof. Actually, this is quite interesting for me because I can
Mhm.
I can apply this in my class because my class MBA students, majority of them, they are more into these interactive activities. So I very less give a lecture to them, so
Yeah.
more on activity discussion with them. So this is the right tools for me to be to use
Yes.
this in my class. Thank you so much, Prof.
Yes, Dr. Hadi, I want to make it very loud here. Big yes, yes. For MBA courses, ODL, jarak jauh, open distance learning, MBA especially, use scenario based, use case studies, use problem based, especially scenario based multiple branching. I think they would really love it. Because and if you design the scenario using, trying to tap their experience, MBA students are, experienced students. They would love if you do something, any kind of assessment that would tap their experience and knowledge. They will feel, they will feel, they want to show off also that they have experience, they have more experience than you. They want to apply the experience to solve the problem in their own way. Okay, so yeah. Yang lain-lain macam mana? Let me tengok senarai nama ni. More than 50% I recognize the name. Anyone like to say anything or asking questions? So go ahead before I wrap up and before we wrap up order ni. Dr. Prof. Norli, macam mana? Environment banyak boleh guna ni, environment. Prof. Norli no environment kan?
Betul, Prof. Betul.
Banyak senario.
Thank you, Prof. Nice to see you.
Kalau nak minta saya bantu apa-apa, just let me know ya.
Okay.
Dr. Razia, ODL. Oh, mestilah. Tolong promotekan kepada PPPJJ lah, Dr. Razia. Senario ni kita kena gunakan banyak dalam kita punya course design. Alright, so if there's no more questions, I've given the link and perhaps I will take this opportunity to thank you all for staying on until the end. Then wishing you selamat menyambut Hari Raya minggu depan. Mohon kemaafan selama saya kenal you all di USM, kita sempat nak berjumpa dan bermaaf-maafan secara direct. So kalau ada yang tersalah cakap, terlebih gurau, Terlebih sana sini saya mohon maaf lah ya. Dan semoga Hari Raya ini kita menyambutnya dengan penuh bermakna bersama keluarga yang dikasihi, and forget about work for few days, then come back fresh and do better for your students, for the program, and for USM. Thank you so much. Back to Sarah, Puan Sarah.
Thank you, Prof. So good to see you here. I hope we can have you back as soon as possible.
InsyaAllah.
Inshallah. Okay. Okay, Prof.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias, for all the valuable tips, as well as to our engaged participants for their active participation. In closing, let us remain steadfast in our commitment to leveraging technology responsibly, ensuring that every advancement we make in the field of education serves to uplift, empower, and inspire. Before we dismiss, please scan or click on the link given, fill up the e-survey, and clarify your attendance to ensure your CPD point. Until we meet again, stay curious and stay inspired. Thank you.
And stay hungry.
Yes, stay
And
hungry.
stay strong.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prof.
Assalamualaikum semua. Have a
Salam.
nice day.